And I just want to start recording there. And it just seems like the viewer of this art or this relief, seems to be kind of apparently supposed to pay particular attention to this guy because he's kneeling. The snake man is kneeling and he's holding out an object to the god that has a certain distinctive resemblance to a particularly large scorpion.
Oh.
In the middle of the floor of this chamber, there's a 15-foot square seal. And the seal appears like this. It's sort of an iconographic representation of these numerals. These guys figured out that these are kind of like Roman numerals with snakes and eggs. And they figured out the puzzle on the floor. And once they did, this little platform in the floor dropped down and opened to reveal a staircase leading down, which is number 10 over here. And it kind of winds down and down and down into the snake pit, which is down here. As far as the Sea of Snakes, there are literally thousands of rattlesnakes down here. And they're not of a species that's recognizable to any of you. They're obviously rattlesnakes because they have rattles. But they're very large. I mean, they average 6 to 8 feet long.
That's a fucking huge snake, man.
Yeah, and there are literally thousands of them in here. And there's smaller ones, bigger ones, but they average about 6 feet.
Jesus.
And just to kind of go over your condition a little bit, when you first woke up down here, you all kind of realized that you had no pulse, no heartbeat. And it's because when you feel for your hearts, they're gone. Instead, the holes in your chest are closed up by some black mass that feels slightly spongy and above all completely numb. Some sort of foreign matter has taken over the function of your hearts. But you have no real strength. It doesn't seem to be like pumping blood or anything, though. It's just kind of squirming and writhing in your chest.
That's disconcerting.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty freaky, man. And
think about it. It may help us with the snake problem.
Well, yeah.
I think in listening to the, I think I'm prepared. Mercy's prepared to walk across the snake pit.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we determined. Like, there's no other real way out of here except for the dangerous way past the Aztec guards. You guys are essentially weaponless. You're carrying around a bunch of femurs, you know, for rudimentary clubs.
I thought they got, like really dull swords.
Yes, dull swords.
And armor.
That's right. You're right. You do have some breastplates and some helmets and stuff, which will provide some protection. Yeah, and rusty swords. But then again, you know, they figured I think there were at least 3 or 4 warriors guarding that entrance. Maybe more. Probably more. But yeah, I think you came to that determination, like, the only way forward, I mean, you guys haven't found the golden scorpion, obviously. It must be past the Sea of Snakes. So the talk was, well, do we just have to run through there, or what's the plan? You know, kind of a thing.
Run through the snakes!
Yeah, who's first? You know, who's going first? But you also determine, you know, by Abe kind of bravely stepping forward and confronting this obstacle and being bit several times, the venom did not seem to have any effect on him. I think Van Helsing surmised, because of your altered bio state, or whatever you want to call it, that venom does not seem to affect you, or at least it didn't affect Abe when he was bitten several times.
That's good enough for me.
Right.
Mercy, I say we walk that snake pit, boys. So let's go back to the. I'm ready to head back to the snake room. Who's with me? Abe,
Sure,
I know
what the
you'll
hell?
do it.
Sure, what the hell?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I won't do it. Well, I guess the snakes are good to walk across.
Yeah.
No. I
Sure
don't want to
don't-
walk across the snakes.
You sure you don't want to take a nap first, Isaac? Maybe I should take a nap first, or no? Maybe not. I don't know.
I think I'll smoke a cigarette.
You know what? Why don't you have a chew? You know what? Here's a cigar. You know what? You should quit.
Yes. No. Yes. No.
Honestly, Isaac's probably dying for a smoke right now. He's looking for anything to smoke that he possibly can. The only thing that's smoked on here, are human bones.
Snakes.
Yeah, snakes.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Break one.
You know, it'll give you a good nicotine buzz. Snake venom. That's flavor country, Isaac.
Snake parts. Best you'll ever experience.
All right, so everybody did their
he's
their
here.
skill checks and luck checks and everything?
Yeah, I got fucked by the dice again when I was trying to roll for those things, yes.
Oh, I have not done that.
Yeah, go ahead and do your skill checks. Looks like Tom just got a roll 20 here.
Oh, there he is.
We have Dr. Van Helsing.
Yeah, the bone
Dr.
zone was
Van
kind of...
Helsing.
The bone zone was anticlimactic. I was almost thinking of adding something traumatic, but it's going to be traumatizing enough.
I think we should start
That's okay.
the Dr. Van Helsing has decided to eat his way through the snake pit.
I mean, I have considered, having the bone passage leading down into, the layer of Sathagawa or something, but no. We'll do that later.
Okay.
It leads down
Oh, Lord.
into a presentation about timeshares.
Yes.
That's why it's called the Bone Zone.
Oh, fuck. Are you guys on the line?
That's good, Kyle. I actually had to mute myself and choke. I laughed so hard.
Good, I failed. Okay, so
I'm
What do I roll
in the
for?
room.
He's in the torchbearer room, isn't he?
It's alright.
will I
No.
roll for luck if I fail?
Yeah, it's 1d... Yeah, if you fail, it's 1d10 plus 5, Lee. You get luck.
I can't see the map.
Oh,
Voices through.
did nothing.
I wonder where that is. Reload the page here.
Where is he?
I think he's trying to talk into roll 20.
Oh, he might have joined Cthulhu Classics 2 again.
Oh, man, can we disable that for him?
I can actually. I'll just
You
kick his
should,
ass right out of
because-
there.
Yeah, I mean, Tom is somewhat of a genius, but man, there's a couple of things that really get him.
Alright, yeah, we'll take care of this right
I'm in
now.
a room.
Tele-
I can't
tele-
hear or see
telephone-
anything, but I
Telephonic technology seems to be a trigger spot for him.
Tell him to join Cthulhu Classics.
Well, he's not in Cthulhu Classics 2. I'm gonna kick him from the game anyway. There we go. By the way, the reason why I make these is for side adventures, and I also use them to share Roll20 resources with other GMs. They join my game,
There he
steal
is.
my shit.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right. Glad you can make it. Are you able to see stuff in Roll20?
I rebooted my computer not knowing what the problem was. Then I saw the said join on the Discord chat. So I'll be on the line in a minute, but I can hear you guys. So
All right, yeah, take your time, dude. We're just doing a
Okay.
recap, and we just kind of got into it here. So
Van
Okay,
Helsing
cool.
has decided to eat his way through the pit of snakes. Thank you.
yes,
doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. No,
It's
So-
legit.
it's something to consider.
There's one drawback,
Yes.
though, Van Helsing. I mean, and everybody, in fact, you're not very hungry. In fact, you're not hungry at all.
Yeah. See,
Or thirsty, for that matter.
we don't have a heart, dude. We have black tar holding our chest together. We have no heart. Our souls have been ripped from us,
I thought it
and we're
was
sitting
just.
on this. I
You
say
know,
we
and
have
I
to.
still want a I still want a cigarette. I still want a freaking.
I thought it was just a
Yes.
big wad
No
of
soul.
tar in her chest.
I
Exactly.
still want a cigarette.
Yeah, no eating, no drinking, but you can't, you know, I mean, you could try to eat, but you certainly are breathing.
Isaac, you should try to eat
That's
some of your
something.
tar heart.
1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Eat your own tar heart, Mercy.
That's what I'm telling you to do. Get
How
to
you
eat
do that?
bone saw.
I think we have to walk the pit of snakes and take all the pain, get to the other side.
That's what we're
and-
that's what we've decided to walk across with
Okay.
10
think we
snakes
should-
hanging from our genitalia as we drag
Yep.
ourselves to the other side.
I don't
be
think we
careful
should
not
walk.
to hurt
I
the
think we
snake.
should run. Oh, really?
Yeah, do not hurt the snakes.
Right, I'm with that. That
Yeah,
was
this
the
is
one.
Jig.
The one repeating phrase, like "Do not hurt the snakes" from last time. I was like, yeah, that's right. Do not hurt the
Yep.
snakes.
Yig is very protective of her snakes, and if we hurt them, she'll remember us. Come breed with us or something. So it's not a good story.
Man.
Doctor
Maybe-
Who
maybe
heard
we
a
get-
story. Doctor Who heard a story. Read a story somewhere about some freaking.
We gotta walk a fine
Navajo
line here.
chick.
We don't want to treat them so good that she wants to breed with us, but
Right.
we don't
so-
want to incur her wrath either.
Right.
So hit some.
We'll
What a,
just scoot
what
them
a
out of the way.
superstitious lot you are.
Okay. Well,
Jeez.
I just for the record, whatever we have to do to make sure she doesn't breed. That's the plan I'm for.
That would be do not hurt the snakes. If you hurt the snakes, she will breed with you. So
I don't know, man. I mean, a snake's idea of romance may not be the same.
that's not what I heard.
No, it's the same.
I'm just dude. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Dr. Van Helsing's been picking up books. The sexy snake riddle, you know what
Some drunken Navajo told me it in a bar out in when I was in Colorado, and he told me the story.
Some hallucinatory peyote trip you were on.
Exactly.
That's what you were like, yeah, I'm teleporting to a bar where I'm talking to somebody about yig breeding processes.
do not piss off the snakes. Yig will come get you. That's it. So, and it was just an ugly, ugly story. So that's my plan. Don't hurt the snakes, and we just take the pain and take the bullet. Because somebody's already fallen in the pit, right? And gotten bitten 30 times and nothing happened.
Abe walked bravely into the pit.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And he took a bunch of hits, and he came coming out thinking that
He came back
he was gonna be-
unscathed.
Exactly. But in pain. He was writhing in pain, so there was a pain threshold we had to endure.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, but Van Helsing determined that the snake venom did not seem to affect him. Although there were puncture wounds and such. It was very painful, but he didn't even lose any hit points or anything.
Yeah. See.
Test.
What do we
Alright,
do
that's
if
cool.
we fail?
If you fail your luck, you get 1d10. Oh, if you
No,
fail a
like-
skill check, you get nothing. Oh, it's 1d10. You want to
get
fail.
nothing.
Yeah, you barely failed. 1d10.
What are you guys rolling for? I came in halfway.
Skills. Skill checks
Oh.
and luck.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Got it. Still booting up. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at Doctor Who real quick.
You can roll them if you can find them.
No, I'll let you roll. It'll just take a moment.
Okay.
Doctor Who has reed lips. 45.
Yes, I do, as a matter
Wow.
of fact.
Why didn't I know that?
It was one of his first things. I just haven't been reading a lot of lips lately.
That's pretty
Hasn't
cool.
come up.
That's really shady.
Yeah, it's something Grandma taught me.
Is it Maud Van Helsing?
Maud, exactly. Old Maud Van Helsing. When I was on her lap, she taught me how to read lips. That was it. Rocking me on the chair.
And her husband, what? What Van Helsing?
Yeah, I don't know. Haven't thought about that.
No, his name was what? He named his son who?
Oh, because this is who. Exactly. Before them is I don't know. Now I was thinking more like Adolf Van Helsing. Going back into the late 1700s, early 1800s. That was inappropriate.
Wilbert.
Wilbert.
I don't see any checks on Van Helsing's sheet. Let me just double check though.
Okay. Luck. Gotta roll luck.
Oh, it's because I changed them to Dark Ages, maybe? Let me see here.
It has to be 1920s.
Yeah, it's set to
Trying to think
1920s. I
what
don't see any checks though. He may
I
not
don't
have
think what we
made.
did last time.
Yeah, they're
I
having.
mean, I just sound like I shot. Wouldn't have shot any guns or anything. I mean,
Yeah, skill checks have been kind of few and far between the last session or two. Just because the environment is so unfamiliar, I guess.
Sandy roll
there's been-
fumble.
There's been some dodge checks, I think, and stuff like that. But when you get it in here, Tom, you'll see that I've revealed a map, just to kind of help things. I wasn't going to reveal it originally, just to kind of keep you guys in the dark, like literally. But I think since some time
I know you're
has
trying to make
passed.
us map it. You're trying to make us map it.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I mean, but it just kind of. I mean, actually, the author of the adventure suggested that the GM not
I
give the
understand.
players any map. But since some
I
time has passed, and just for recollection's sake, I've revealed a map just to kind of give a primer as to what's
Okay.
happened so far.
Got it.
Just a little map of
I'm
the
not-
complex.
I'm not supposed to show the kids the map in the once they go into the lost pit. I'm not allowed to do that.
Right? Yeah, same kind of thing.
Suggested that too. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, getting warmer.
Okay.
Computer was trying to download something, and I just total craziness.
Well, let's just talk about the snake pit then, shall we?
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
The moon
We're
side.
going
waiting
in.
to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going in, so I'm sure somebody would say who's first, or somebody would volunteer. Who would
Mercy
that
will
be?
go first.
I'll go with you. I'll just scoot.
You
Keep
want
your.
to hold hands?
Well, no. Actually, I'll let you go first, I guess, if it comes. That's what it comes down to. But scoot your feet. Keep your feet on the ground. Just kind of scoot through so you don't step on anything. Just be nice.
Okay,
and
yeah,
gentle,
that's good advice.
And we'll see
And then it's
where we can
probably
get
going to
there.
turn into a mad dash to the other side. Once
Yeah,
they start
as we take
striking me.
hits. Exactly. Oh, that's right. The code. There was the code. And number 1 is the pit. Is that the snake pit?
Um,
at the
Number
map.
11
It's
is the
11.
snake pit.
11.
yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
below
I think
the
that's
main map. Number 1 is the sacrificial chamber,
Oh.
where all the bodies were stacked up that you guys woke up in.
Got it.
Number 2 is the bone zone. We had already found, Tom, that shaft that leaded down into the darkness full of bones just leads back into the sacrificial chamber. But it's a lower passageway that opens up underneath all of the corpses. And that's why everything was kind of pouring into the passageway. This looks like where the Aztecs pick through the bones, for skulls. Primo
Let's
skulls.
see. Where does B go? That goes down and out.
B is the spiral staircase that leads down. That's underneath
And
the underneath the platform in the puzzle room. When the
Yep.
platform kind of slid away and revealed the staircase, B is the staircase leading down to the snake pit. Yeah, this short
Got
jutting passageway here is in the hallway of hell, where all the pit traps and stuff are.
And that just kept going and going and going, right?
Yeah, it kind of zigzags back and forth through this series of traps. You guys had found bodies in all those pits and everything.
And what's this? The way out?
Yeah, and that's daylight.
Okay.
You saw some Aztec warriors guarding that entranceway into the pyramid.
I remember that.
All the rooms marked number 5 are the bone rooms where the skulls are lined up on the walls and piled up on the floors. One of them has a set of carts, like hand carts, with 4 handles each. Large carts that looks like the Aztecs used to carry these skulls up here from the bone pit. Only one of the rooms has those carts, though.
The Bone Zone?
Yes, the bone zone. And then number 11 down here is the snake pit.
Our path is clear.
We need a name for that pit.
I called it the
Pit of
Sea of
Snake.
Snakes. Yeah,
The Sea of
the
Snakes.
Sea of Snakes.
Oh, snake, oh, pitto. My Baron Kyer Spanish teaching me. La Pito El Snakos.
Mrs. Cantu.
Yes, Mrs.
Yes.
Cantu and all those other guys. Crazy. Or one guy. Crazy.
Mr. Surface.
Yes.
That was his name, yeah,
Mr.
Surface, yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Surface.
Yes.
Alright, well, Mercy, where's that hit location chart? Oh,
El
I saw it
Hoya
on
de la Serpentiz.
Ooh. Oh, that actually sounds like Kyle got an A in that class.
Sibo.
No, I just know how
Senor?
to find English to Spanish because I live with just about all primary Spanish speakers. So
That's right. You should be picking that up rather quickly, I would think.
I know
Excellent.
enough. I know enough. Like
Mhm.
when I'm working up here, going into places, most of the people doing the work are speaking Spanish, and their first question to me is, "Are you a lawman or something like that?" Like
Oh,
they just want to make sure
fantastic.
that I'm not there to take them away.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
You're
No,
not an
I'm
ice.
married.
You're not an
to-
ice. Yeah, you're not an ice official.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
married to Sammy. Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Here, I'll have my Cuban wife come in and talk to you.
Exactly. Yes. That's awesome.
Kyle, you
That
would find a hit location chart on this character sheet somewhere, and I can't find it anymore.
Oh yeah. Let me.
Why is it?
Well, no,
where is
it's
it?
applicable to me. I don't know about that.
Well, I know I saw it on here.
No, it used to be.
Did they take it away?
I think they did.
Oh.
Yep.
Was it a drop down? It was a drop down.
They took it.
Let me. I'm just gonna roll one of the dice here to see if that like reveals it or something.
Mhm.
Not doing anything with it. Let me try to roll a successful one. Oh my god! Come on.
What'd you say?
There we go. Trying to see. There was a like kind of like remember the claw law and all those books.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a checkbox that you have to turn on under pulp options. It says additional options, common dice rolls. At the top left of this character sheet, guys, there's a little gear icon that was added to the sheet. If you click on that gear icon, it opens up a little menu.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it should be set to 1920s, and then there's an additional option, common dice rolls.
Okay, who's using their mic as a respirator?
Sorry.
Yes, I know. Someone is Darth Lording that stuff, man.
I've been
Darth
on
Vader
mute,
is
so it
joined
wasn't
the
me.
It was Aiden.
Yes, I'm the Darth Lord.
Okay, so Mercy, is there any particular way that you're moving across this chamber to the other side? It is about, it's quite large, actually. I think it's almost like 80 feet across. Something like that.
I'm gonna just shuffle through the snakes. I'm not trying to hurt them, and I know I'm gonna take damage, so I'm gonna try to, steel myself mentally like I'm walking through some cactus field that I had to, or something.
Okay.
When I was a slave.
Yeah. And you're all barefoot, too,
Yeah.
which is even a little
No,
more...
that,
yeah.
That way I can feel for the snakes.
Right.
I whisper in his ear just as he's about to go. Careful, or she'll breed with you. And then I send you on your way. Say good luck. And I roll my eye.
Oh man.
How are you going to make me bring up the Van Helsing screen early this session?
I said, too bad I didn't have my medical bag. I start laughing.
All right, so as Van Helsing is making fun of Mercy,
I take a piece of Van Helsing's heart and put it in my mouth as chaw. Puts him on the ground right in front of him.
Van Helsing laughs, hearty laugh. He's like almost like the Acid Head Warrior laughs and it echoes. It's kind of frightening.
all right, so you're not 5 steps in, Mercy, before you're bitten. And then,
Okay,
and then bitten again. And it hurts.
Oh, I know.
White hot pain.
I'm going to
And
keep
I'm
going.
I'm right behind him,
All right.
laughing.
I guess I'll follow them,
Or maybe you won't.
or maybe I won't.
I follow.
But I do.
All right,
Oh,
as you guys are kind of walking through here, what'd you say, Aiden?
Ow.
Ow. Ow.
I say, ow.
Ow.
I follow them to get away from the shadow beings.
So yes, as you guys are filing through here, almost like in a single file, all the snakes kind of begin migrating towards the center of the room. You can see, and each of you are bitten 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Some of them remain attached. You know, it's like Mercy. You have like a snake hanging off your arm, and you have to kind of shake it off. And the pain is pretty intense. But before long, you find yourself on the other side of the passage. In great pain, but alive. And all of you feel, and after a little brief, check by Dr. Van Helsing, it does not seem like the venom is taking effect. You would expect some pretty massive like bruise marks and skin discoloration and things like that. But
Swelling and all that.
yeah, but other than have sustained some pretty nasty snake bites, you're all in pretty good shape. This tunnel kind of winds around to the right, up ahead of you. And I'm assuming you guys have torches with you, right? You've been kind of carrying torches. That was another thing, Kyle, I don't know if you caught it, but there are actually burning torches up all through this upper complex, as if the Aztecs use it all the time, and they replace the torches every couple of hours. So you guys do have some torches as
and I know Abe had 6 extra torches on him.
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know where he was carrying those, but
Inside his robe.
So as you begin moving down, this passageway through
Be
torchlight,
cautious. Checking for traps.
you start noticing first on the walls there's a sort of what appears to be a golden sheen in the rock, and it doesn't appear to be like part of the rock. It seems to be like a discoloration of some kind.
Glow from the golden scorpion.
In the first, at first it's pretty faint, but as you can continue moving down this hallway, it really sort of transforms into a pretty lively glitter in your torchlight. It seems like these walls, ceiling, and floor of this passageway have a very kind of bright, reflective golden sheen about them.
Look like gold leaf, or is it?
It's kind of strange. It doesn't look like gold, but the rock has this gold reflective color. And before too long, it becomes more and more prominent. And after a minute or so of kind of creeping down this passageway, being careful, the walls, ceiling, and floor almost seem to be made of pure gold. And it's all glowing kind of reddish and reflecting the flickering torchlight.
I lean over to Dr. Van Helsing and I say, and if you mess with the gold, she'll breed with you too.
In the distance ahead, you can hear what appears to be the sound of flowing water, like a sort of a splashing, rushing sound of rushing water.
Flowing blood.
In the passageway,
Not time for a bit.
Opens up into a subterranean cavern. It's very large. You can hear the flickering and sputtering of your torches kind of echoing in the chamber, as well as the sound of rushing water somewhere beyond in the darkness. And again, the floors and ceilings they appear to be made of pure gold. So imagine standing there in the torchlight and everything's kind of reflecting red, from your torchlight and the ceiling and everything. And now it really does look like actual gold. Not a gold vein, but just pure gold. Yes.
Gold bars.
Be rich as Nazis.
Do we see any kind of like scorpion, any kind of temple, any kind of
use
spot
imperialism
hidden?
on this.
Well, this chamber seems to be quite large, and it kind of leads off into the darkness. You can't really see any walls to your right, to your left, or ahead. It just opens up into this enormous subterranean cavern.
Look up.
You can see kind of parts of the ceiling up there reflecting in your torchlight. It's made of gold also. The ceiling doesn't seem to be too high. But this looks like a natural cavern. The floor is very rough. You can see sort of puddles of water here and there. But there are no, fungi or insects or anything like that you would normally expect in an underground cavern. It's just the sound of rushing water and the sputtering of your torches.
Should we head towards the sound of the rushing water?
Yes, definitely.
All right. So we'll listen to see if we can figure out the general direction of this massive subterranean gold cave.
Yeah, it's definitely coming from that way, like straight ahead somewhere.
Okay.
Sounds like a rushing. Yeah, it sounds like a creek or a stream, something.
Bloodstream.
So as you move through this cavern, the floor is very rough. It kind of goes up and down. You guys are kind of splashing through some of these puddles. You begin to see a faint light ahead in the darkness. It's a golden, yellowish light. And you see a stream kind of rushing along the back wall of this cavern from left to right. And lying on the ground near this subterranean creek, all of your attention is captured by sort of this glow that's near the shore of this little creek. And you see what appears to be a golden object just sitting there on the floor.
Careful.
Yeah.
Pause for a second, man, and we'll look.
I examine this creek.
Well, taking a closer look, it appears to be a carven statue about 1 foot high, 2 feet long. Looks like it's entirely made of gold, richly set with jewels of all sorts, predominantly rubies, red gems. And in shape, it does recall sort of a shape of a scorpion, but appears somewhat distorted and somehow asymmetrical. The 2 claws stretch forward and open. The tail is curved above the body, stinger facing forward. And strangely, the statue lacks legs.
This is not the one we have.
And it's just sitting there right on the ground next to the stream.
It's a trap.
Check who's got that femur bone. Let's see if it and touch the claw with the femur bone.
know if we should touch it at all.
Yeah.
Really?
No, let's not touch it all.
Let's wait. Can we look at the rest of the room? What's on the ceiling? Can we do a search of the room before we?
All right, let's search. Yeah, let's search.
Okay.
Be careful. Looking for traps and being very methodical. Staying away from the statue.
Yeah. Can we get close to it? Look underneath it, see if there's anything there. Look around it.
Okay. Parts of the ceiling are kind of out of sight, or at least the range of your source of light. But I'll show you kind of what you see here. It's not like this. So it's not a, extremely large cavern, but it's very open, natural, and the only thing that seems to be in here, at least that you've seen, I mean, perhaps, after searching around, you find the edges of the cavern and everything. The only thing that seems to be in here is this golden scorpion lying on the ground near the creek.
How big is the entrance to this creek? When it goes into the rest of the mountain, that face there's
pretty large.
Can I do an intelligence check just to see if it could be a trap?
No. Because you know very well that it could be a trap.
How deep is the creek?
Creek's not too deep.
Level?
Looks like 2 to 3 feet deep. And it kind of rushes out of this cavern to the north, and flows this way.
Remember that picture? Remember that picture that was on the back of the thing?
Yeah.
So it had like a skull. Yeah, the back of the map. Had a skull. It had that box thing. Yeah, it almost looks like wheels.
Yeah, I think you're talking about this.
Yeah. I mean, are those skulls on the walls? What is that? Just like the bone room, and then what's above it? A shirt with a V-neck? And 2 things sticking out? What is that thing?
Oh yeah, this thing. So like maybe this is us getting hacked up and
yeah, this is clearly us getting hacked up, and this is us finding the scorpion under the temple. The question is, what is this? Getting it out? Is that what this is?
This is once we touch it, it poops us out to this beehive.
Maybe. And then what's this? Then we ascend to the old Cthulhu in the sky. I mean, what's this shit here? So.
You guys have just entered David Lynch world.
Yeah. So Kyle, this is like the apiary for raising bees, right? Right here. And yeah. No, you guys had determined after you initially found this, I think it was Van Helsing that came up with the idea that this area of the drawings, I'm going to put in a mark here, appears to represent possibly some treasure. The fabled treasure that lies with the golden scorpion, or down in these caverns or catacombs somewhere, because it looks like it's counting something. There's 8 of this and 4 of that, and with these skulls here, these seem to represent numbers.
Maybe we should check the passageway that goes to the creek as it moves off down there. Maybe we should take a little look down there.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks like you could, certainly fit a couple of men, down these passageways. I mean, if you dare. I mean, you could literally like jump into the creek and just kind of start swimming off into the darkness where this,
How strong is the current?
Not very strong. Not very strong at all.
Take a torch upstream or something?
Yeah, if I stick the torch down in there, like just from the side, how far can I see how far it goes? Does it?
It goes back. It goes back as far as you can see. Both ways, north and south.
Are we going to try to take the scorpion?
Yeah, I think we are, but we just want to make sure there's nothing like the scorpion is going to attack us. Do we have to subdue it? I mean, do we need to like tie down its claws and its pincher?
I'm just thinking maybe
just
if we pick it up, some giant serpent's going to come flying out of one of these tunnels, man.
Maybe.
Well, maybe if we touch it, it might just teleport us.
Maybe.
If we're going to touch it, if we're going to touch it, we should all touch it at the same time.
Yes.
All right.
I have my bone femur out.
Well, you have to touch it with your bare hand. You have to grab it.
I can have it in one hand.
I'm going to go to the back of it where the tail is, and when I touch it, I'm going to be like grabbing the tail so it can't reach out and sting anybody. I mean, that's my I'll be in a position to grapple should I need to be.
Okay.
I have my bone zone femur.
Okay, so Van Helsing, reaches down, puts his hand on the tail of the scorpion. It's very cool to the touch, Tom. And the gems that are inlaid into this thing are pretty amazing. They're gigantic rubies for the most part. Although there appear to be green pustules of jade, as well as some blue and green gems as well. But it's just cool to the touch. It appears to be made of pure gold.
Let's lift this thing up, boys. Pull it out. Take it to our master.
We'll definitely, before we grab it up from the ground, we'll definitely kind of sweep away any dirt and stuff around it to see if there's any kind of pressure plate or anything, Sean.
Okay, you do.
That's a good call.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything particularly interesting. It just
we all pick it up.
Yeah, it simply appears to be lying on the ground.
No additional pressure.
Yay!
Now we get into the Indiana Jones part right here.
So as you pick it up, the first thing you recognize is that I'm going to show you a little representation of it here too. First thing you notice is that it's extremely light.
Oh, since it was all gold, I thought it was gonna weigh a mint.
Says Mercy.
Hmm.
I mean, judging by its weight, does not appear to be made of pure gold.
It's made of chaste souls.
Who's the gold specialist of the group?
That would be Isaac.
Yeah, he's a prospector, isn't he?
He's a mountain man. I mean, he's traded gold with the Comanche, and he's been around gold. He's been in more than a couple mining camps. World skill, I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah. So Isaac, you after a little closer inspection of this thing, it certainly looks like gold, but it is not gold, whatever it is. It's like no metal, really, that you've ever seen, or that you'd be familiar with. That goes for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do a natural roll check on it?
No, Aiden, you're certain. I mean, between all of you, you're certain that it's not made of gold. Whatever metal it is made out of, it's something entirely unfamiliar to any of you.
Can I do a gold check on it?
I mean, even with maybe some of your, education background, knowing about this stuff a little bit. I mean, you're familiar with things like, platinum or, different types of gold and stuff, but this does not appear to be any type of, precious metal that you've ever seen.
Is the light in this room radiating from this thing? Is it glowing? Is it generating all this light and lighting up all the gold around us?
It does seem to give off a pretty fair sheen. It's hard to tell because this whole cavern seems to be made out of gold, in fact. But yeah, you're not sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell in the torchlight. It may give off some light, but it's like really shiny, The light is just reflecting off of it, which is turning everything kind of a reddish color. But it doesn't seem to be glowing, per se, at the moment.
Let me check one of these passages, man.
One thing I can tell you, though, Abe, the precious stones that are set into this definitely appear to be real. Those
Are
look
they
like
loose?
they look like some hellacious rubies.
Will they fall out
Especially.
in my hand? Are they loose?
Only if you want to breed with Yig.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't ask. Yeah, exactly. Forget I asked.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing out of here.
He didn't say that out loud.
Let's get the hell out of here, man. Eastbound and down.
I think we should check these passageways, man. I think we should check this passage.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's deadly, huh? Who
If I had
cares? We don't
rope or
have hearts.
something, we could tie to you.
Well,
and
I
then, like,
mean, we don't know how to get out of here anyways.
Yeah,
well,
maybe
I
these
do. We know we
passageways.
need to take this thing up through the pit of snakes, back upstairs into the room where it was written on the wall. It said, "Bring me that golden scorpion." So we need to go back up to that. What, hallway 4? Is that where it was? Where were we told to take this thing?
What kind of cocaine on Helsing?
Tom, to answer your question, the god, Tezcatlipoca, told you that you have a year to live, and should you find the golden scorpion, that you will be contacted a year from now, and you'll be told where to bring the scorpion, is what he said.
Okay.
To most of you.
So
To some of you,
Is this big
not all
enough?
of you.
Can I pick this up and put it in my pocket, or is it like, how big is it?
No, it's about 1 foot high and 2 feet long. It's pretty large.
Can
Yeah,
I
you have
lift it up? I try to lift it up.
Oh yeah, you can easily lift it up. You have to kind
I
of
pick
carry
it up.
You might be able to tuck it up under your arm, but it's it's like the size of a wiener dog, I guess.
It's Van Helsing's new toy.
I need to take this with me, so let's go.
Yeah, you're not the only one, man. We all have to have it. We all got the same crazy message from Smokey Mirror.
I don't think.
What the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about either. All I know is that we need to take.
Oh,
this
shut
thing.
up! We already
Listen
had
here
this
now.
discussion. We already had this discussion. We already talked about what everybody heard.
Dr. Van Helsing, as you're kind of holding the scorpion in your hands, discussing the matter, your teeth start to ache a little bit all of a sudden.
I put the scorpion down.
Yeah, I mean, you have never had a history of toothaches, but yeah, your teeth are kind of aching for some reason.
You check.
You see the look on Dr. Van Helsing's face, like he just ate something that tastes bad, or he's kind of scrunches up his face and sticks his finger in
Takes
his
the
mouth,
wrong
feeling his
drug.
teeth.
Or the feeling that he has taken the wrong drug.
Okay.
And it's not intense. It's not intense pain. It's just kind of like a soreness or an achiness a little bit.
Does it
Maybe
get
we
better
should
now that
all carry the scorpion.
does it feel better now that I put the scorpion down?
Maybe a little bit.
Hmm.
Does seem to be an odd coincidence that standing there holding it, that you sort of
Is
toothache.
there
So
anything in the room where we
I picked
can
the
drag this
scorpion
thing?
up.
Well, it's not very heavy, Kyle. You wouldn't have to drag it
Oh
per se.
no, it's not that. If our spiritual contact with it makes our spirit teeth ache, I'm trying to figure out a way to take it without touching it.
On the stream.
I pick up the scorpion and I rub it on Mercy just as a joke. I'm like, look, the scorpion.
I punch Bonesaw right in the face.
Jeez.
All right, Lee. Isaac, as Isaac reaches down and just picks up the scorpion, he's got this grin on his face, and he kind of holds it out to Mercy. At that moment, you see what can best be described as a sort of wave of light emanate from the scorpion, and it creates this distortion in the air around you, almost like heat creates in a mirage where the air just kind of ripples. And this golden light emanates from the scorpion, and you hear sort of this deep sound suddenly. And this wave emanates from the scorpion and kind of travels off away from you in all directions. It's like a literal wave in the air. You see these kind of waves undulating around you for about 3 seconds, and then it's gone.
Oh, dude.
Wait, say what again?
Yeah.
You see these golden waves emanate from the scorpion, and it distorts the air around you. Almost like the effect you get from like heat in a mirage where the air's kind of rippling and undulating. And the wave emanates from the scorpion in all directions, almost like throwing a pebble into a pond. And it's this golden wave of light emanates from the scorpion and then kind of dissipates after a few seconds.
I touched the scorpion.
It's cool to the touch.
I hold on to it.
Abe takes it away from Isaac.
What happens now?
If we're all holding it, do we become invisible? Can we walk out? I'm serious. Can we walk out with this thing? I mean, this wave of light, what did it do? Did it make him disappear?
The only noticeable effect is all of you feel, after this happened, maybe a slight sort of prickling feeling on your skin and on your body. A little bit of an ebbing numbness momentarily. Doesn't seem to have any other effect, though.
I shake the scorpion.
So,
Abe,
I mean...
Well, hold on. Abe, you realize the weight of this thing. I mean, you assumed it was made of gold at first, but obviously it's not made of gold. You think that it actually might be hollow. You're shaking it around a little bit. Either that or the metal that it's made of is... No. But just judging by its size, and it's made of metal, it's either hollow or the metal that it's made of is extremely, extremely light.
Kind of crazy alloy.
Abe, your teeth start hurting a little bit.
I keep holding on.
You've got kind of goosebumps all over your body. Your skin's kind of like prickly feeling on your skin.
I keep holding.
And at that moment, you hear a voice coming from the direction that you guys entered the cavern. And it says,
Rodrigo. Rodrigo, is that you?
Oh no.
and it's like this.
Esteban. Sí, Esteban.
Protector.
He says, Rodrigo, where have you been? You see a man come walking out of the shadows. At least he appears to be a man. He's about almost 6 feet tall. He looks extremely haggard. Probably about 30 years old. But what's sort of conspicuous here is that he's completely naked and his body is completely golden. Even his long, shaggy hair looks like it's made of gold. And his eyes are just golden surfaces. And he's kind of hunched over a little bit. And he's looking off in kind of a different direction than where Isaac responded to him. Judging by his appearance, he looks like he's blind. And he says again, Rodrigo, I thought you were dead.
Okay.
And he's speaking with a pretty heavy Spanish accent, which I'm terrible at.
One of the conquistadors that were came down.
Rodrigo.
One of the Spanish guys that came down here originally, maybe? I don't know. Was there a Rodrigo?
Yeah, actually there was a Rodrigo. You know that in the Cortez expedition, there was a man named Rodrigo Alvarez Tiburon del Arroyo. And he was one of the leaders of the expedition as well. His name was Rodrigo. But kind of disturbingly, guys, as you get a closer look at this guy and he's talking to you, there's something wrong with his teeth. Because his mouth is full of crooked and jagged teeth.
Oh boy, here we go.
And here, I'll show them to you.
Here comes the dental work.
Right.
I promised you life, but I didn't promise you teeth.
There he is, right there.
Play along.
He says,
Rodrigo, you sound different. Come, my friend. I cannot see, he says.
and he kind of puts his hands out, and starts walking towards you. Where you guys are standing with the golden scorpion.
I take off my robe and I pick up the scorpion and I start walking out.
Now Van Helsing is completely naked, walking, and he starts walking with the golden scorpion
out, and I'm leaving this way. Fuck this guy. I don't know him. I don't trust him. I don't know where he's been. I don't know who he knows, what he's touched. I'm out.
He suddenly gets kind of a look of concern on his face, and he's kind of looking towards you now, Tom, as you're moving. He may be blind, but he can certainly hear. And he says...
No, I don't say that. I don't say that, dude.
No, but you said you were walking, though, right?
Yes, I did say I'm walking, yes.
Well, he hears you walking, is what I mean.
Okay.
And he kind of picks... he picks up on that, and he's kind of like looking towards you as you're walking. And he's like...
Rodrigo, who are these others? Why have you come?
Friends.
Who are you?
Sit back and relax.
I've forgotten.
I say Rodrigo's full name. We know of your friend. Who are you?
Says
Rodrigo
why?
We know that Rodrigo Esteban Garcia.
Why, I am Esteban de Villa. Who are you? And now he looks a little concerned. And he starts walking.
He starts walking towards the direction you are, Tom, where you're walking out with the golden scorpion, like kind of moving to follow you.
I'm stealthily walking, trying to be quiet. Can I do stealth?
You can try.
If he gets an extreme.
I need a hard stealth check.
Hard one, Van Helsing. A very hard one.
Green.
It's hard to do when you're all gacked out on cocaine.
Right.
He's like tripping on himself.
Epic fail.
He reaches over and he puts his hand on your shoulder, Dr. Van Helsing. And again, he says, he turns the face kind of back towards the direction where you guys are. And he says, who are you and why are you here?
We're here to help.
Help?
We were cast down here. How are you here? Aren't you cast down here too?
And Tommy kind of turns back to Van Helsing and he starts kind of feeling, or he puts his hand on your head. And even though if you're trying to move, he's kind of following you. And his hand kind of falls down and touches the scorpion.
Say, I'm on a mission from God.
He says, he looks angry. And he says,
no. And he
reaches and he's trying to take the scorpion away from you now, Tom. He grabs onto it with his hands.
This is
I
the
avoid him.
golem.
I brawl move, man.
We
Alright.
gang up on him.
I'll hold the scorpion. I'll hold the scorpion while this is going on.
I hit him with the club.
Isaac
Okay.
punches him in his golden face.
Alright, so
Actually, I think I will just punch him in the face.
So looking at a full-on dog pile, basically here.
Yeah.
Yes. As I hold on to the scorpion, I kick him in the balls as hard as I can. Boom! And everybody just starts piling on him.
Well, if everybody's piling on him, I'm not going to require any rolls. It's quite easy for 4 or 5 of you guys to pile onto this guy. So you get him down on the ground, and he's kicking and he's thrashing, and he's like gibbering this nonsense now in Spanish. And even you, Mercy, you don't understand. He's saying, I don't know. He's talking about just mumbo jumbo. No words seem to make sense or go together. And then he begins giggling. And now he's just laughing insanely now as you have him down on the ground, but he is kicking and struggling.
I hit him over
Hey,
the head.
why are you gold? Why are you gold?
Now he begins screaming. Ah! Ah!
I walk out. I
This is some
leave.
Hold on, Van Helsing.
I'm walking
hit
out.
him
So
over
guys,
the
let's go.
What are you gonna do with this guy? Hold on, relax, man. We don't have any rush. What's the rush? We don't have hearts.
He starts screaming stuff like,
Will the golden god protect me from these infidels? Kill them! Kill them all!
Who's I get to like beating on him with the club.
oh, so now, okay, so you're thrashing him with the club?
Like,
Is the intention to knock him out, basically?
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, don't.
His incessant cackling, screaming, and cursing suddenly stops as he goes unconscious from Abe's bludgeoning.
So I examine him a little more closely. Is he actually gold? Is he made of gold?
His body is completely golden. Even his hair appears to be made out of gold. His eyeballs are just golden surfaces. Just smooth, kind of reflective golden surfaces. His mouth is full of crooked and jagged teeth.
Are they
This is
gold?
a golem.
Yes.
This is a golem right here.
I mean, as you can see from the picture, his teeth aren't quite human. In fact, they appear to be similar to what you would see in a shark. There are actual additional rows of teeth growing out of his gums behind the other teeth. They're all kind of very small teeth, but very sharp.
Mm.
I'm about to throw this guy on the snake pick. I mean, seriously.
The last thing he was doing is kind of screaming something about a golden god or something like that. But
I'm
yeah,
sure.
he's unconscious and quite harmless at the moment.
So,
But Lee, he does
appear.
appear to be pretty young, about 30 years old probably. He does have some kind of European features. He looks like he's probably Spanish, judging by the Spanish accent. He probably is Spanish, from Spain.
Where did he come from?
Wonders Isaac.
Did he just appear?
He did. He kind of just appeared out of the darkness from behind you where you guys entered this cavern.
Is there anything behind us that we missed? Maybe a little room or a little door or something? We'll go back and check that back wall, man.
You do, and there is none. Apparently, if he came in here, he must have come through the snakes.
Is his
Right.
chest full of tar, or does it look like it's all padded up, like and sealed together like ours?
Well, it's interesting to note that even though his entire body is golden, There does seem to be a depression in his chest now that you're looking,
Yeah.
Van Helsing.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here, man. We leave. I'm leaving. Guys, we're leaving. Let's go.
Says
We gotta
Van
go.
Helsing.
There should be more treasure, though.
Says Isaac.
Diagram.
We should probably go down the stream.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to check out the stream? Come on, who cares, man? We're already screwed, Van Helsing. Come on.
I say we leave. This is it. We gotta go. Look at this guy, man. Cursed for all eternity. He's been here for what? We saved him.
Van Helsing, your teeth begin aching again a little bit.
Even though I'm not touching it because I got my shirt around it. I'm not actually holding it. I'm not physically touching it.
Yeah, your teeth are hurting a little bit. Oh, you know what's really weird too? Is the, piece of cloth, I guess, that maybe, which is the robe you were wearing.
Turns to gold.
Seems to have this golden hue to it.
Shit. All right.
It's kind of spotty, but it's almost like there are flecks of gold in the fabric, kind of looking. It's very strange.
All right.
Flecks of gold in the fabric of what?
Of the robe, Van Helsing's robe that he's using to carry the scorpion with. He's wrapped the scorpion in his robe now.
All right. I set the scorpion down. I set the scorpion down.
You do.
I hang out naked for a while and let my robe get more goldish. But okay, we can't carry this thing out of here.
Well, it's hardly noticeable. Yeah, and the goldness of the robe per se does not seem to be increasing, but it is barely noticeable. But you can see the fabric of the robe itself does have seem to have these random golden flecks in it that are kind of sparkling in the torchlight now.
I think
if we're around this thing and we touch it for too long, we'll turn into gold like this guy did. This guy's been here for a long time. It probably turned into gold just being around it.
No, it's cool, man. You can carry it, Tom. It's treasure. You love it.
Exactly. There's got to be a better way.
Well, there are the carts. There are the bone carts, remember? I mean, we could grab a cart and bring a cart down here and throw it into a cart.
That's a great idea.
That's one, but I'm still curious as to what's down this passageway down here. That's the only place we haven't investigated, correct? Is that right? Is there any other place here we haven't looked at?
Yeah, as far as you know. I mean, essentially, looks like there's 3 ways out of here at this point. There's the main entrance. It's guarded by warriors. There's the zigzagging hall of traps that you guys haven't fully explored. And there is this underground stream.
I think we should check out the underground stream. I really do, man.
I agree
just to see. Just to see.
We must go down the bone zone.
All right, let's go.
The stream.
I agree.
Zone.
I am convinced.
Right. It looks like you could travel, in either direction where the stream is, but it's kind of tight. You'd have to kind of duck your head. But 2 of you could walk abreast. And the water's not too deep, at least where this cave is. But it's kind of a tight space.
Or downstream? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so we'll go with the stream as it flows.
Yeah, the stream kind of runs in this direction.
It's flowing that way.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry, I may have been wrong in my description, but there you go.
War Club will grab a torch, man. Yeah, let's grab the scorpion, Doctor. Love it. Come on, let's go.
If you stay longer,
No. We don't want to take the scorpion with us, do we? We want to wait and see what's down here first?
If we leave it here, the guy will wake up and take it.
Not if we kill him.
It's light enough. We should bring it with us.
Yeah, apparently his name is.
With us?
Apparently his name is Esteban. That was a good guess, Lee.
Esteban.
Yes.
Do I care? wonders Van Helsing.
Should we kill this guy?
We
Tie
could
him
just we could tie him up.
This guy is like reminiscent of Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
It's a little Gollum-y.
What does it have
No, when
in
you
its
said
pockets?
golem, I thought you were talking about like a clay golem or something.
No, I was talking
Oh.
about Lord of the Rings Gollum, because he has like when he noticed you're taking the golden scorpion, he kind of freaked out.
Yeah, he tried to take it from him.
Yeah, he was a little protective. Not sure I appreciated that.
He's
God.
probably like the crazed guardian of the scorpion.
Exactly. He's been
poor-
here for how many years?
Yeah, exactly. Poor Esteban, brutalized by the vagabonds from San Rafael.
Outlaws.
Outlaws, yeah.
More like
Yeah, how would you describe it, Aiden?
hero.
Oh, heroes. Is that what we are?
Of people who are trying to be heroes and failing.
Wannabe
A
heroes.
ragtag
Perfect.
team of a ragtag team of ne'er-do-wells.
Yes, that's good.
That's
That's
trying
good
to
also.
get a machine gun. I mean, I don't want to be on the bad side of the law.
Yeah, you've done a pretty good job of that so far. So it does look like the stream or the creek here is traversable. It's very dark down these tunnels, and it is kind of a tight fit. But the water's only 2 or 3 feet deep. You know, maybe almost waist high at its highest, at least in this area. And the current's not too great. I mean, not great enough to, you know, push you around or pull you down or anything.
Can I use the body of this conquistador? And will he float on the water and I put the scorpion on top of him so he floats down like a boat? So he's the one carrying it and I'm not the one not touching it? and I'm not kidding.
Yeah, let me think about that for a
Like,
second.
right behind him, about to like.
That's one for the
And
record.
I put him face down, of course.
Oh no.
We're about to
Let
kill
that
this
occur.
man.
No. He flips him over so he's face up, man. Who knows? Maybe he'll turn into flesh.
All right.
once we get him out of this cavern.
I let him float and he's like got the scorpion on his chest like a seal when he's cracking open his little, you know.
It's too bad there's
Yeah,
not
but
an,
that's whatever.
it's too bad there's not an alignment space on the Call of Cthulhu sheet, because we could definitely write in chaotic evil for Van Helsing.
He'll float better if he's breathing. That's what I say. He'll float better.
Yes, he'll float better if he's breathing. Oh.
Leave the women.
Float better if he's breathing.
Pragmatic, man.
Yeah, and
Well,
we're
I'm
laughing,
fine.
but it's not funny. Isaac actually says he'll float better if he's breathing, and Van Helsing nods. You know.
All right. Good idea. That's what we'll do.
Like Abe's like right behind the body, like he's keeping an eye on the body. You just know. He
All right.
hears that and it's like about to hit him over the head again.
Well, here's the deal: as you guys kind of traverse down, which way are you guys going? You going upstream or downstream?
Yeah, the way
Down.
the way the
Downstream.
arrow is facing, right?
Okay. Yeah, downstream's kind of to the south there, southwest.
Yep.
Okay.
Downstream.
Fine.
It becomes readily apparent after not too long that this creek turns more into a stream. It widens, and the flow of the water becomes a little bit greater, and it becomes much deeper as well.
We pause.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go the other way. Gentlemen. We turn around and go the other way and see what's back that way.
You do, and it becomes the same. After not too long, the stream deepens, and in order to actually move down here, you'd have to go into swim mode. You'd have to swim it. You wouldn't be able to walk, especially against the current.
Well, I've got a 40 swim. I don't know how everybody else is equipped.
Yeah, but
Can
what's
we
your swim
see?
with carry?
What's your man?
Oh no.
Can we see like anything ahead, or does it just look like more stream?
more stream, at least as far as you get. And you guys do have torches, you know, in here, your light source or whatever, but it might be kind of hard to swim with the torches. But it is
The scorpion kind of emits its own.
not noticeably so. No.
Think about this guy. Think about the.
It certainly
body,
did with the golden
body.
wave, Kyle. When it emitted that wave, it was emitting light, but right now it's not.
If you had the golden body with a torch in its mouth and the scorpion on top of it, it would probably emit it pretty nice.
We must kill the man then.
No. Let's. I think if people don't have good swim skills, I think we have to go back and go through the snake room as Tom originally intended.
I have a 48 swim.
Or Dr. Van Helsing. Oh, 48. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. How about you, Mercy? Mercy.
Let me check.
Abe, what's your
Swimming.
swim
I don't think I
skill?
have any. I have a 20.
20. Okay. That pretty much negates that. So.
See, but going out that way, it means you got to walk in front of those guys. So, do you think we're going to be able to walk past these guys on the way out?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. I'm trying to see if there's anything.
If only had some canoes or something.
Can we build? Oh, can we build some boats out of the carts that we found up above?
As a matter of fact, that's a great idea because those hand carts that the Aztecs had used to haul the bones away, they were pretty deep and sturdily constructed of wood. They just might serve as shallow boats.
Yeah. Let's go get some carts, man.
Let's
get the hell out
get
of here.
some carts.
All right.
Probably scare some.
The work shed.
All right, refresh my memory on where the carts were. Do we have to walk through the snakes again?
Oh yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah.
They're up like in here, like in number 5s. All these 5 rooms somewhere in here.
What's this right here? Where does this go?
That is the passageway of traps.
Okay.
We go get some carts, man.
Okay, so you head back up to the Great Hall. It's kind of a long climb up these stairs here. Are you taking Esteban with you?
Yes.
Okay. When you get up to the main hall up there, you can see that the rows of torches lining the walls have been recently replaced. And they're kind of burning and sputtering and lighting up the hallway here.
We retorch.
Okay.
Yep.
You do.
Yeah.
And as you get up to the base of these stairs up here, you begin hearing voices up in this direction, up from above you, up the stairs. It sounds like 2 men's voices. And they're speaking that strange Aztec-type tongue. And their voices they seem to be kind of a conversation. It's not really loud, but it kind of echoes down here a little bit, so you can clearly hear it. There are at least 2 men up there somewhere.
Careful. Let's just wait them out. Wait till they leave.
I wonder if they can even see us. They're probably like real people, but we're in the spirit realm.
Says Mercy. Yeah.
I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it.
Probably a lot more time is passing here than in reality.
You might be right.
Or vice versa.
Let's go back.
Yeah, when Mercy says that, Abe's like, let's go back. His eyes get really wide, and he puts his back up against the wall, and he's looking back and forth, left and right, left and right. He's having sort of a freak out right now.
Let's go back. I'm not dealing with them.
Let's stay out of sight for a while. See if we can wait them out. Put the torches back. Don't make any trace that we've been here. Let's go hide in one of the bone rooms and see if they leave.
Alright.
Okay, sounds like a plan. You do. You wait them out for about 10 minutes, and the voices kind of dissipate. You actually hear them moving further away from you now, and then you no longer hear them.
Hey, we go grab some carts and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, man.
All right, you do.
Throw the scorpion in a cart immediately, and we 3 carts? Is that right?
Yeah, there are 5 of you. It looks like each cart can probably hold 2 of you if they service as a boat. I mean, they're not quite constructed like a boat, but they may serve, sort of a rudimentary canoe-type vehicle. It might be leaky,
Can we take
though.
the wheels off?
Yeah. Well, there aren't any wheels on their hand carts, Tom. There's like 2 handles on each end to be carried. So it's not really a cart. It's more of a, what's the word?
Travois?
Travois, thank you.
A travois?
Yeah, that's what the French used in North America before there were like horses. They used
to carry their bodies.
Well, and the Indians used them too. It was like a little sled, basically.
Well, these aren't exactly travois, though. They're more like hand carts, I guess. That's the best way to put it. Sort of like when you see pallbearers carrying a coffin.
We grab
See? There's that pallbearer reference again. Boom.
Right.
Exactly.
Bringing it home.
We'll each grab one.
Okay, so you're, like I said, it looks like 2 men would fit in one, so with 5 guys, you'd need at least 3 of them, probably. 6,
So we need,
actually, with
plus
this
we're
on.
carrying the scorpion. Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so with a little effort, you start moving these carts down the great hallway, down these stairs. It does take some time because these stairs are kind of steep. And by the time you get back down to the puzzle room, you're all quite tired. You need to take a little bit of a breather after moving these things. They are quite heavy. But you successfully get them down to the puzzle room. And again, Isaac's eyeing that narrow passageway off to the west there that leads to the treasure, he thinks. And the door to the spiral staircase leading down to the snake room is closed at the moment. Seems to open and close itself after a period of time once it's open. So it would require creating that magic circle again in the wall, or the magic square in the wall, which Aid can do quite easily at this point. So he's figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
So the choice is try to take these boats out of this place, wherever the stream leads, or to go to the one place that you haven't actually fully explored, which is the Tomb of Horrors, as Lee calls it.
I wonder if having the scorpion with us would make a difference in the Tomb of Horrors hall. Maybe not.
Oh, I think it would.
Hey.
I mean, if
Is
you
that an idea?
I
don't know.
think if you put that before us, in
So just carry the scorpion in this in one of our carts.
Well, we'd still have to be aware of we know where the traps and all. We've mapped out traps up to a certain point, correct, in the hallway.
Correct.
Okay, so if we,
Or maybe, I mean, do we kind of know?
if we, yeah, we know up to. I think there was 4 or 5 traps up to the point where we got to like the double pit.
Yep, there's a single pit trap, and then there's a depleted trap. It was like a bolt trap. It shot out these arrows out of the wall.
Yeah, with the pile of conquistadors.
Yeah, when you had found it, it had already been triggered probably at least several times and killed a bunch of people there. And then after the bolt trap, there was another pit trap, and then after that, there was a double pit trap. And that's kind of where you guys decided to go back.
We could see if the scorpion prevents the first pit trap from triggering, correct? By,
Yeah.
using a femur bone to push down on it and presenting the scorpion, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll try that.
Okay.
So we try.
All right. So there's really only enough room in this passageway for single file, right? And Abe, I'm assuming you're following these guys back down in here where you were hearing those voices of the dead,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Abe's still a little freaked. He hasn't fainted yet, but he's still conscious, but Abe's a little freaked out right now. He keeps looking behind the group into the darkness, and you are hearing voices now, Abe. At least you think you are. And they're not voices of your friends. They don't seem to be in your head. They're coming from somewhere down here. And you get to the first pit trap, and use the old femur trick to kind of push down on it, Isaac. Doesn't seem to be really any difference. I mean, you can locate where the trap is,
Right.
and you understand how it works. You know, let me give you a little representation of kind of how it works here.
Can I trigger it with the femur bone, even though we have the scorpion there?
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. So this is kind of how it works. It's like the floor. Part of the floor is on a hinge that moves
Right.
down rapidly when somebody steps on it.
A
And
door,
there are
basically.
Yep, and there are bodies of Indians down there, remains of some conquistadors. But there doesn't seem to be any difference now that you possess the scorpion. To traverse the pit, you would certainly have to jump over it. It's not too long of a jump.
Could we put Esteban's body on the spikes and just walk over his corpse?
Well,
Yeah, we did.
the pit itself is about 10 feet deep. At
All right,
least,
that's
maybe
not
12 feet deep. Yeah.
How about the
We
how
can
about
do
the
that on the
carts
double one.
fit across the pit? No.
What was
Nope.
that?
Nope, the hand carts won't fit across it.
Could we
Alright,
nail Esteban's feet to one side and his hands to the other and walk across like a bridge?
Or
No.
can we take the carts and fill it up with bones and then fill the pit until it's...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is only about 9 or 10 feet across, so it's jumpable. It's not too difficult. You guys did it before. Filling it in wouldn't be an option. It could take some time, of course. And beyond lies another pit trap. 2 pit traps, in fact.
We could fill them in. I mean, what the hell else are we doing?
Yeah, it's not like we got all eternity.
We're
Or
dead
don't
for
have all eternity.
we're dead for God's sakes.
All right, well, let's
Fill in
take the
the double pit
Travois.
trap.
What we could do, since Stuart's not here, we could make Hector go down there. I'm just kidding. You guys
He's
be like,
incredibly dexterity. He's got a great
Yeah.
dexterity.
you could
There's
be
some
like,
chickens right behind you.
Hector, we've nominated you to retrieve the treasure. Good luck.
There's chickens. The chickens
Bring
are
it
coming.
back out this way to us.
The chickens are coming.
The chickens.
Oh.
Run and get the treasure before the chickens get us.
Yeah, he probably would too in his mental state. Hector, more or less at this point, he's just terrified. He's convinced that he's just going to die down here. Honestly. Whether it be death by chicken or not, he's going to die.
No, don't worry about it. You're already dead, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, don't worry, you're already dead.
Yeah.
No worries.
Don't worry, you're alright.
Yeah, no worries, man.
You
Yeah,
can't
got a
die
black-
twice.
Yeah, spongy weirdness in your heart. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we'll fill up the carts with bones and fill in the pits, man.
Okay. Be a bit of a feat of engineering here, but it takes some time. Certainly sounds like a good
We
idea.
need a couple of Romans with us. They would have had a bridge built over this already.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like an arch.
You could do that if you have a legion.
True.
Yeah, if you guys had like an engineer type or a carpenter or something, you might be able to disassemble some of these carts, or at least maybe the remaining carts, and maybe create a bridge. Possibly.
Instead, we just fill it in with skulls.
Bone. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the plan, huh? All
That's
right.
the plan.
All right. So you guys start working on filling in the first pit. It takes a few hours. You do find you have an almost unlimited supply of bones, kind of just up the hallway here. But you have to traverse these gigantic staircases, going up and down. Of course, going down is much easier than up. You have to take
It's
several
mildly
breaks.
comical.
It is kind of mildly comical. I would say more than a couple hours, too. We're talking, it takes 6 or 8 hours just to even get close to filling in the first pit where you could kind of jump down in it and walk across and climb out the other side, with somebody actually holding down this spring or hinge mechanism that triggers it. It does take, a good 6 hours to get enough bones to fill up the first pit, but you manage to do it so that you can move past the first pit here. The second trap was the bolt trap. And again, there are, bodies lying around. I think you have pilfered the ones that were conquistadors of their armor and helmets. Oh, by the way, Tom, you're not totally naked. Your junk is hanging out, but you're wearing a conquistador breastplate and a helmet, at least.
That's right. I remember that. That's right. Looking good.
You're like the
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh of conquistadors.
And I rub it up against the scorpion so it turns to gold.
Whoa! Whoa!
You do what?
Oh, no.
I didn't hear it.
No, I rub it up against the scorpion so it turns to gold.
Oh man, you really love gold.
I love gold.
I love gold. Oh man, I think you're gonna pay for that one, man. Yig is not gonna like that.
I'm rubbing. Whoa. I'm rubbing the armor. I'm rubbing the armor against it, not.
Yeah, whatever, man.
There's disconnect here.
That sounds like breeding ritual stuff,
No.
Yeah.
Clang, clang. The sex spell has
Hold
been
on.
wrong.
Yeah, so you guys get the the last bones you need for the first pit, and Mercy kind of jumps down in there and feels around. He's like, yep, this will work. We can get across now. And everybody turns, and Van Helsing is standing there, and he's doing something quite unexpected with the golden scorpion.
I'm just rubbing the breastplate on it, man, dude. You guys took it all wrong. I look at him and I roll my eye. I'm like, you guys. Oh man.
Man, he really loves that golden scorpion. All right, come on. Let's get going to the second trap.
Yeah, and at the bolt trap location, there are several bodies lying around. Many of them are Indians, and noticeably, the Indians all show these black growths in their chests, just like some of the other Indians you have found in these pits. The conquistadors do not have black growths in their chests.
The conquistadors broke in from below to try to steal it, where we're sacrificed with the rest of these guys. So the conquistadors took over or did something. They were not, you know what I'm saying? They broke in. That's why they know where this stuff is, says Van Helsing.
That's
Get more bones.
Yep, surmises
Get more bones.
Van Helsing. Then there's the matter of the second pit trap. So back to the bone zone, right?
We
Building a
bone
bone
it.
zone. We're building the bone zone here.
So after quite a bit of time and quite a bit of work, and during this time, as you're trying to fill in this pit, you begin hearing these sputtering, coughing sounds from Esteban, who's
I hit him
who's
over
lying
the
there.
head.
And Abe just hits him over the head. Crack. Yeah. And then everybody just goes back to work.
Does he knock some of his gold teeth out?
Wait a minute. What?
Does he
Gold
knock
teeth.
some of his gold teeth out? I pick him up.
No, I think he's trying to safely make him unconscious without doing too much damage to his face,
Okay.
It's just that quick knockout blow. Everybody goes back to work. So after some work and some time, you guys get the second pit filled in enough with bones to get across. And then, of course, is the matter of the double pit.
Okay, we're making progress.
What?
Now, hopefully, by the time we get done with these, there won't be like a 3-pit trap.
There could be another trap up ahead. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
to be
for sure
careful.
there could be.
All right, let me make a roll here. Everybody give me a luck roll.
Okay. I roll my luck.
I'll roll for Hector.
I see something I can't see. We have Lee and me.
All right, everybody who failed their luck roll, take 1d4 damage just from Operation Catacombs mishaps while you guys are trying to load these bones into the pits. Tripping, falling, bumping, scraping, spraining, perhaps.
Bone splinters.
Yes. So
From
it does.
the zone.
I mean, at this point, of course, it does become evident that at least your new bodies are not completely invulnerable.
Interesting.
And these are, again, just from like maybe tripping down the stairs when you're carrying these bones, or, you know, bumping your head really hard on something. You get a little bit battered and beat up from this major job. And this literally, you guys, I'm going to say, even though you haven't encountered any danger down here, you haven't encountered any of the Aztecs or anything down here. It's been a couple of days now since you guys have been down here. It takes many, many, many trips back and forth between the bones and the pits to get these filled in enough to where you feel that you can safely navigate the double pit and find out what is beyond.
What is beyond?
For we are
And-
adventurers.
Yes. Heroes. Even if you believe Aiden, apparently you're heroes. Unfortunately, you find that, you know, not 40 feet down this passage, it zigzags again, and then the hallway just suddenly ends in a wall. Oh, but wait. You make out a small opening in the ceiling above. About 8
Okay.
feet up off the floor. Looks like big enough for a man to crawl through, perhaps.
This will be the bone zone here.
Yeah, it's just a dead end. There's a small
You shove
opening in the ceiling
Esteban's
about
body
8 feet
through
up.
there?
Well, it's about
Yeah,
8 feet
Esteban's
up there. Is the problem.
To climb up
Can
there.
we all put Esteban on our shoulders and push him up?
Well, I guess,
Really?
you know, you think maybe if you get one of those carts, those hand carts down here, you could use it as sort of a makeshift ladder to kind of get up high enough where you could maybe boost
a
someone
torch up
else
in
up
there?
above you. Yeah.
Could we get like two hand carts and basically have a torch in our hand and look up in there?
Who's doing that?
I do.
All right, Isaac. You're able to get high enough up after stacking a couple of the hand carts. You get up high enough where you can kind of get a look up in there. It looks like the hole kind of levels off. Like you could
Being
crawl up
cautious.
in there, and it looks like a crawl space up in there.
Okay. So
But it's very
I'm-
dark and very like narrow. It looks like you'd have to actually crawl up into it.
Does it look like anybody's been up here?
No, there's no sign of anybody.
All right.
Abe, the voices of the dead are driving you mad.
No.
They're talking
Don't
to
do
you.
that. No.
And much of it is in Spanish, so you can't understand what they're saying, but they're kind of whispering to you.
I don't. Espanol.
Can I use?
They're just saying Espanol.
I don't
So-
know. Is there anything we can do to help him?
Should I? Okay. Yeah.
Parapsychology, maybe.
Yeah, okay, I don't have that.
Hold on, let me look.
Doctor, help me.
Doctor. Okay. I look him in the eye, and I take my other eye and look in the other eye.
It just creeps
Yeah.
him out just enough.
And I do some psychology, man.
Well, it's not
Well, if it's
psychology that I would
psychology,
need. It's actually parapsychology, or not?
Uh-oh.
Is
with
it
a P?
parapsychology? Oh, not psych. What am I talking about? It's
psychoanalysis.
Psych-
psychoanalysis.
Psychiatry.
Thank you. Psychoanalysis.
All right. I do the same thing.
I'm like,
Which is not really an 1800 skill, but
creeped him out.
if you would have
Enough
rolled an
where
01
he-
or something.
We're creeped out and more
Yeah,
afraid.
It's
think
the
my eyes
1800s
see
version of it. You run up to him and slap him and say,
yeah,
"Get back
dude.
on the front line."
Snap out of it, man, for God's sakes.
And he just breaks down.
You know, I look
Yeah,
at everybody
see,
I
some of
tried.
these voices, they're telling you that, and these voices, again, and they're not in your head. You've heard voices in your head, you know what that sounds like. These are coming from somewhere, like, in the direction of that sacrificial pit. You guys, like, back in the direction of the puzzle room? And some of them, you notice, I mean, some of it's English, and they're saying things like,
Children of the devil we are.
and just
Shut
shit
up.
like that. Yeah, and you know, they're telling you, you know, like that you will not.
Shut up! Shut up!
Yes.
You will never leave this place.
Shut up!
Stay with us.
No!
Join us. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Join us. One of
So,
us.
so during this whole
That's how I get-
operation of you know, Isaac checking out this crawl space up there, you know, somebody would probably notice that Abe is just kind of in this almost catatonic state of paranoia and fear.
I think we've got to get him out of here.
He puts his
quick as we
hands
can.
over his ears, you know, and then
Calm down, people.
yeah, you find him in a fetal position
I
now on
think
the
I'm
floor
gonna
with
check
his
out
hands
this
over
crawl
his ears.
space.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to check out this crawl space.
Oh, you're not?
Well, yeah, I
Yo,
will.
maybe you will.
I'm going to check out this crawl space.
Maybe not though.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Okay, I jump up there.
You jump up there.
Okay, it's very small and very tight in here. A little claustrophobic, Lee. But it looks like there's a narrow passage up here. And after a short distance, it leads to a dramatic downward slope.
It's a secret way out.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard. It's actually kind of hard to see. You've got the torch up here, but it's so small and cramped that if you were to go any further, you would have to go down this very steep downward slope here.
I come back out and I tell them what I discovered. It's tight. Looks like there's a spot where there's a point of no return.
No.
What do you mean you
No,
can't turn around? You mean you can't come
No.
back?
You can. I mean,
It
he would
doesn't
have
look
to
like-
kind of shuffle and crawl backwards to get out of there. That's how small it is.
He's just like rocking. Abe's just rocking.
Would it be better if we go legs first, so we can, push ourselves back
He's
up?
like muttering, no.
Yeah,
Speaks
I mean, it's
German.
conceivable.
All right, I'll
But just imagine
Grab-
just kind of imagine very tight, narrow crawl space up there that's just barely big enough to fit any one of you. You have to crawl on your knees and elbows, squirm like a worm to get through there.
There'd be no way to get the scorpion out this way.
Oh yeah, the scorpion's
Yeah.
big enough. We could go, no problem.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
that big.
Can
like I
I do
said,
a psychic
about the size of a
analysis?
wiener dog. You know, yeah, you can try. Well, not on yourself technically. Technically, you're still suffering from a bout of madness, Aiden.
Like, I probably need your guys' help.
Yeah, and
Well, I was just
mechanically,
gonna say I was gonna
Yeah.
grab him and say, "Come on, man, we need you. Get back in the game."
yeah, he will snap out of it eventually, but it's just kind of he's going through a hard time right now. All
Do
that.
you want me to go check out the rest of the passage down here, guys?
Yeah, I think this leads out. I have a good feeling about this.
I don't know, man.
You afraid for us? Would it go? I mean,
Yeah, we gotta go.
think about it like this would be another way in, and that's why all these traps were here. Are there more bodies behind us or in front of us? Were there more bodies in the double pit or in the single pit that we first encountered?
Yeah, it seems like the further you go in, the less bodies there are, basically. So I think in the double pit, the third pitfall there,
No one.
there was no one, yeah, in either of those.
Oh, so okay, so nobody made it that far. Well, I don't know. Then. Maybe
Right.
it's not the way in.
Yeah, but you know, who knows, man? Who knows what's down here?
Right, which would lead you to believe that if they didn't come from the way of the crawl space, they must have come through the puzzle chamber.
Exactly.
Which, if that's the case, apparently they didn't solve the puzzle.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank God for Abe's book learning.
That's the question, right? So if that's the main goal to solve the well,
Well, that's how we got the scorpion, right? We couldn't get it without that.
I'll tell you what, guys. Let's take a 5-minute break, real quick. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You guys can
That's good.
think about your fate. I'm back.
No.
Hello.
I'm here. We're back.
Oh, Pingsley.
Yeah. I love this Twilight Zone soundtrack stuff. It's great stuff. Right. You guys have me on the edge of my seat now. What's gonna happen?
Okay. Who's on? No one.
We
All
are.
of us.
Oh, all of it. Okay, well then.
I don't know if Aiden's on yet. Be out of pocket.
What were you guys talking about?
Oh, there we go.
I loved what Van Helsing did.
I'm afraid to ask. What?
No.
Don't ask.
Rubbing his armor on the golden scorpion?
Turn it all gold.
He was not rubbing his armor, dude. Basically, we're all in a single file, and we hear this like squeaking sound, and we turn around and
It wasn't his armor.
humping,
Yeah.
humping the golden scorpion.
I can imagine it though. I can imagine Dr. Van Helsing doing that.
Yeah, I can see his son, Nicholas Van Helsing, playing through, our previous campaign. I can see where he got his little idiosyncrasies. The apple does not fall far from the tree.
He's a little more sane.
Yeah. Both of them pretty sane, actually, Tom.
That's true.
I know they started off some pretty high sanity, but more or less, I mean,
Eccentric.
yeah, Nicholas had to have some therapy at one point, but he came out all right.
About how Smoky Mirror is going to feel about you rubbing your jingle jangle on his scorpion.
Right.
At you.
Yeah. He's checking his list, and he's checking it twice.
No.
Again, it's just one of those things. You just got to breed with something. It's gonna be animals.
Right, that could be your explanation.
Nicholas Van Helsing has a twin brother, has a brother, but he's half snake.
Yeah, Doctor Who gave rise to Van Helsing, which is part Yig, explaining the eyes.
So you find you guys are in a bit of a conundrum here. There's this narrow crawl space that seems to be the only way forward through the Tomb of Horrors here. And I mean, your inclination is that, it certainly would have been difficult for a bunch of men to get up into this area through this very narrow shaft, and there's no indication that anybody had at any point. You kind of feel that it's probably more likely that these conquistadors came through the main part of the catacombs, through the puzzle room to get into this trap area. And evidently, none of them, even if any of them made it, there's no sign of it. I think all told, you found about 15 or 16 bodies of conquistadors mingled among the Indians down here in these traps. Especially with the arrow traps. That got a lot of them.
I mean, Rod, like the guy, Escobar, I think.
Esteban? Yeah.
Azkaban.
The guy you knocked out twice?
The Golden Man. Yes. The naked Golden Man.
The Golden Man. I would consider him sacred before this group, because maybe they appreciate the gold, man.
That's true.
Traps are there? How many
Leave us
traps are
alone.
there? How many traps are there? There's what?
4.
5. There's 4.
Yeah, there's 4.
I'm just looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at this diagram of the scorpion.
Yes.
Uh,
Which one?
This will be the one that's
Up here?
the shield. Yeah. Okay, so scorpion that we have, it doesn't resemble the scorpion in the pictograph as far as the jewels on the side, right? It's different than that.
It does resemble it. The only real main difference is the actual golden scorpion does not have legs, kind of conspicuously. But obviously, the image in this drawing represents a scorpion, and the scorpion itself does resemble a scorpion. It's just kind of odd looking. It's kind of a representation of it down here.
You just see this weird line, this narrow line that runs from the back of the scorpion's tail over into this other area, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost indicating a connection of some sort, maybe.
If you count these rings on the scorpion's tail, what is it? One, not the eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? There's 5 of them. I don't know.
Go on. Finish your thought.
If you look at this passageway, do you see how it kind of zigzags back and forth, maybe like a tail?
Yes.
Yeah, very perceptively,
There's-
almost as if
There's
like a serpentine
and there's
kind of thing.
and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 traps we found.
You're
I'm just
saying we have one more angle and one more trap to go.
something like that. I don't know, man. I they did or not, but it doesn't. Basically grasping at straws, but it's either this passageway leads to something good or it's a death trap. That's
Well, it could be leading to the mouth. I mean, this if you're saying this is the zigzag of the body,
I don't know.
the head's got to be up here.
Yeah, the snake pit is the tail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is there a way?
Nice.
Can we like tie a bunch of our white clothes into like a elongated rope?
Well,
Yeah.
I think Stuart had asked that earlier, and it's very, very fine linen. It's not very durable. Not enough to
There's
make
no
a
rope or anything in the rooms with
no.
the wheelbarrows. Okay.
Yeah, and the robes would not make very good rope. It's very light fabric.
No.
Right.
So
Hard
I
decision
guess Isaac
time.
could go. I guess Isaac could go keep going down, see what happens. Gonna do that, gentlemen.
Yeah, do it, man.
Keep
going
Scooch down there,
down.
man. I scooch down there. I'm just like, remember me?
All right. Taking a torch, I assume, right?
Oh yeah, and an extra torch stuck in my loincloth area.
Okay. So you get up into this crawl space, and you get to the precipice, I guess you could call it, where there's a dramatic downward slope. And you can fit in there. You have to kind of turn your body because the passageway kind of turns. And you kind of crawl and wriggle through it. And now you're looking down, at this angle. It's almost like a 50 or 60 degree angle leading down. I mean, you can kind of, the only way to push yourself forward would be like on your elbows, kind of,
Can I light the other torch and drop one down there to see what's down there? Is that possible?
Yeah, you can do that.
Do. Before I drop down there.
Yeah. You do. The torch just kind of, rolls a ways, and it gets stuck down there, about 30 feet down. And you see that the floor, walls, and ceiling of this narrow passageway leading down look kind of odd to you, almost if they've been fashioned in some way. Like the stone looks a little bit different down there. It's made out of a different type of material or different coloration to it, but it's kind of hard to see. But it does go down at least 30 feet. It looks like it goes beyond that quite a ways as well.
You know, being so thin, isn't that maybe where the snake crawls to find his home?
Hmm.
Or it could be the. What happened to our hearts?
Because he could just slide over those trap pits. You know what I'm saying? He'd just slither over them. He wouldn't need to trap them because he'd just slither over it. He's not walking like us.
True.
So does it widen out down there, Sean, or is it still super tight?
Super tight. It's just the stone down there seems to be, I mean, the stone where you are, it's just very closely fit, like a granite type of stone, but it's very dark green, black. It's like black with kind of green veins in it. It's the same strange stone that this whole place is made out of. But down there, it looks a little bit different. The texture of it looks a little different. The color looks a little different as well. But it's kind of hard to see.
Out of there, man. I scoot back out of there. I come back to the party, and I'm like, dude, if I drop down there, I won't be able to get back up.
I mean, that is something I could point out, Lee. You're kind of right, because if you go head first down into the shaft and try to back out again against gravity, it would be very difficult.
I'm like,
not impossible, but difficult.
Yeah, so that's the deal, man. I'd say we take our chances with the guards.
What about going down feet first?
I'm unwilling. Isaac's unwilling to go any farther. He's like
going down wood first.
Yeah, Van Helsing says, "What about feet first?" And Isaac shakes his head, no.
Once you get to that precipice, if you drop off in there, I think that's like the point of no return. Halfling, damn it.
There's supposed to be treasure down here. Where could it be? Were the Spaniards wrong the whole time? Is there no treasure down here?
This could be the man.
It's just that breastplate, I'm trying to interpret that.
Yeah, this thing right here. Yeah. That and then this.
Yeah.
This actually, I think I'd mentioned before, resembles a shield or something. It resembles the types of shields that the warriors use. That you're not quite sure about.
These little things sticking out the sides.
Yeah.
Is this a shirt?
All right, so you guys, yeah. Well, and the thing is too, you have to realize these items that you found in Don Felipe's grave were lost. You guys are kind of going by memory at this point too. You don't actually possess these at the moment. But how about a hard idea roll? Everybody, give me an idea roll. It's intelligence. And I'd like to try to do more skill checks, but just be patient.
Mercy got it.
Holy crap. Mercy has an 80 intelligence. Wow. Mercy, you do recall, okay, regarding these symbols on these piece of parchment that you guys had. You're quite certain that this does resemble the shields that these jaguar warriors use, right?
Okay.
This right here could possibly be... you saw some of the warriors and some of the people as well, especially the royals themselves. They wore these strange-looking hats, kind of like mantles.
Okay.
And this etching right here, this drawing, does kind of resemble those mantles. And it's sort of a hat that's worn over the entire head and falls upon the shoulders. Yeah, it looks like this is some kind of adornment, a head adornment, clothing, like a mantle. Also, it's quite obvious that, you know, this over here in the pyramid depicts some kind of chamber under the pyramid where the golden scorpion is purported to be. And there's the connecting line.
Yeah.
And at the time you guys, found this, I mean, you realize that the section that I put in a box here does represent, seem to represent a count of something. And the most obvious, I guess, you know, seeing that Mercy has an 80 intelligence, I think Dr. Van Helsing has pretty good. You guys figure out, like, this does represent that there's some sort of treasure connected to the chamber of the golden scorpion over here. Not literally the chamber, but it seems to indicate that there are some valuables. The little piece of furniture there looks like it might be some sort of chest or container, perhaps, that contains something. Maybe 7 of something, with 4 of something on top of it. In this skull with the count next to it, you're not quite sure what that could represent. But it almost certainly represents some kind of treasure, some sort of valuables. And the conquistadors were very explicit in their explanation of, you know, the knowledge that they had of this place. They were quite certain that there was treasure down there.
Okay, well...
Esteban begins coughing and sputtering again, and he wakes up and he starts sitting
I
up.
had him.
Okay, no, don't hit him, man. Let's ask him about the treasure. Let's ask him about the treasure.
He's trying to fend off the blows, and he's saying,
No, no.
I talked to him in Spanish.
You cannot take it from me. It is mine. As Abe starts beating him with the club.
I like break one of his ribs by accident.
crack.
Abe.
Oh.
So
Abe's beating the blind. Abe's
Accident.
I asked him about the treasure, man.
Abe's beating the blind man.
I hold Abe off for just a second.
It is so wrong. Okay.
I tell him in Spanish, if you want the beatings to stop, you're gonna have to give us some information. Tell us about the treasure.
All right, he gets up on his knees and he starts kind of feeling out with his hands, and he says, "Where is it? Give it to me."
You cannot have it. It is mine.
Yeah, this guy's twisted, man.
I used the golden scorpion to...
Tell us where the rest of the treasure is, and we'll let you have the golden scorpion.
I hate to tell you this, but one of our party members already rubbed his jingle jangle.
You may not want the golden scorpion back ever again.
Precious scorpion.
Oh man.
So I offer that fake offering of, tell us where the rest of the tell us where the treasure is, and you can have your scorpion. We're here for the treasure.
He looks at you, per se, as you're speaking to him, Mercy. You mean you will let me keep it?
Sure.
Give it to me.
No.
After
That's
you
not
show
how
us
this
the treasure.
works.
I want it now.
You'll get nothing until you give us the location of the treasure.
I'm about
Where's
to
the rest of
just
the treasure?
with this golden scorpion at this point.
We could kill you now instead.
Can I use psychology on him?
No, unfortunately, he's insane.
All right.
I remember.
But he
Beat
he
him
may be
over the head with the golden scorpion.
okay. He may be insane, but he definitely wants this golden scorpion. So we keep using that as
I'm
leverage.
about to I take the golden scorpion. I'm gonna ask the group this. Can I beat him with the golden scorpion?
No. Hold on. Say, hey, I'll let you touch the golden scorpion briefly, but you gotta tell us where the treasure is. And I take his hand and I rub it against it. Just breathe this for a second.
He said, treasure? I know not of any treasure. What treasure?
I beat him over the head with the golden scorpion.
No, the treasure the conquistadors were here for. Are you one of the conquistadors?
The expression on his face changes, and he kind of looks downward. And he says,
Yes. I was with Rodrigo.
And what were you here to find besides the scorpion?
What happened?
he says, I
I will tell you, if you make the man not hurt me anymore.
He's not going to hurt you anymore as long as you tell us what we need to know.
I become threateningly over him with the golden scorpion.
And you will let me keep the scorpion?
Yep.
Then I will tell you.
And there, at the dead-end passage at the end of the Tomb of Horrors, Esteban de Villa tells you his story. And he starts with sort of a preamble. I'm just going to give it to you. So these Spaniards, led by Rodrigo Alvarez around the year 1600, he tells you that Rodrigo was approached by a tall, very dark-skinned man, dressed in the traditional costume of the Aztecs. And he says that Rodrigo was given an Aztec codex, a book. And Rodrigo thought that it appeared to be a pagan text, one that had escaped the thorough book burnings of the Inquisition. And they knew that the Aztecs had no alphabet, but had used pictograms, which pretty much, he says, lent themselves to relatively easy interpretation, as the pictograms usually denoted exactly what was depicted. And he says that whatever the difficulties Rodrigo and the others had in deciphering the codex, they discovered that it told the story of the Aztecs' discovery of a hidden temple, and of their building of a new temple atop it. And, of course, most importantly, and he says, I'm sorry I lied, but they realized that there was incomprehensible amounts of treasure depicted on every page of the codex. So, eventually, Rodrigo kind of inquired about the drawings, and they wound up in Mexico. He says that they interrogated and tortured many Indians, and he successfully learned where the hidden valley lay. He set out with his friend Don Felipe, a priest named Don Alfonso, and 30 more men. And I was one of them. And we went to retrieve the treasures described in the book. And of course, our particular goal was to find the golden scorpion, which is drawn in the codex. After many tribulations, we finally discovered the remote valley in June of 1601. We found the Aztecs living as they had for hundreds of years, with no knowledge of what had happened to the empire in the south. We attacked them. They defended themselves doggedly, but had to surrender in the end. Only 20 Spaniards survived, 6 of them severely wounded. And among them was Don Felipe. His arm had been torn open by the Aztecs. But we killed more than 80 of them. We then descended into the temple to look for the treasures. But as you probably know by now, many of us died in the traps deep in the temple. Rodrigo had also discovered that the Indians themselves had dug a tunnel themselves, trying to locate this treasure. And we looked for it and we could not find this secret tunnel that supposedly led, to the treasure chamber. And we couldn't find the secret door to the passage to the Golden Scorpion. And at that point, Del Arroyo, he kind of saw that after coming so far that we had failed. We felt that too many men had died in the traps. And as far as I know, they turned around and headed back. But he tells you that as far as he's concerned, he says that he was here, with Rodrigo when they defeated the Aztecs here in 1601. And he was with many of the men, that were killed by the traps under the temple. He says he was wounded by an Aztec javelin, and he was captured. And 10 days later, I was sacrificed to one of their gods. And after much, and this is very kind of fragmented, I'm just giving it to you straight. Then he starts babbling and kind of gibbering and giggling and shit as he's telling you about, the Dark Man. And he gives you guys, basically an idea of the exact same thing that kind of happened to you. He said this Dark Man approached him, and he thought it was some kind of game or some kind of dream. He thought he was dead. And he says, I never exactly understood the purpose of it. But eventually, I figured out the puzzle after being down here for many years. And I found the scorpion. The god. The golden god, he says. And then he kind of gibbers and mumbles and screams and giggles. And you do, get a pretty good idea like this guy is just completely insane at this point. And apparently he has come to worship the scorpion as his god. And he begs and pleads for you to not take it from him.
I hit him over the head with the golden scorpion.
No, don't hit him, man.
We need it. Dude, we need it.
He's not going to take it from us. There's too many of us.
Mercy is staying your arm from hitting the blind man again. So this brings up an interesting prospect. You guys would realize after not much thought here that
They didn't find the
if this guy was part of the original expedition, he's been down here for maybe 300 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, some or most of you, when you spoke to the Dark Man, from what he told you, it's kind of unthinkable or very mysterious on how Esteban has survived down here for 300 years if he was given the same offer you were.
I think he has a purpose.
If he was given the same offer we were, he's the dark. Well, the god just wants he wants the scorpion at any cost, so he won't come calling for you. He can't get in here somehow, or else he would have come and gotten it himself,
Well, more specifically, you are told that you had a year to live in order to find the scorpion and bring it to him at the time of his choosing, a year from now. So it almost doesn't make sense if he's been down here for 300 years. Why didn't he have a year to live? Was he given a different offer? Maybe you interrogate him a little bit, and you do get it out of him that he was told, actually, that he had a year to live. But in fact, he's been down here for 300 years.
So,
I think we give him the golden scorpion, push him out with near the guards. I mean,
no, I think as soon as the golden scorpion leaves, this cave system is providing the scorpion with protection from this being. You know, as soon as it leaves the hall, all hell's gonna break loose.
let's do some Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So
well,
if you're gonna hit anybody with the scorpion, Abe, you should hit Quetzalcoatl right in the fucking head with it, because I think it's got power over him. I say we try to kill him with the scorpion. Hold it, you know, when you held it before yourself before and it sent out that wave. That's probably the kind of wave that would kill him. Remember?
Quetzalcoatl. No.
You think it's a weapon?
Yeah, I think it's a weapon, and I think we can wield it against them. And that's
I
kind
mean, we
of
can
Mercy's
use the
whole
weapon.
plan. He's like, you know, he made me this offer. My plan is to kill him with this thing.
And if you believe what Esteban is telling you, there is indeed treasure involved down in this, and it's probably somewhere down here. They just never
But he
found
hasn't
it.
seen it,
There's
No.
got to be some.
which might be at the end of this corridor.
And you also learned new information that the Indians had looked for the treasure as well. They had apparently dug some shaft. They think they had located it, and they dug a shaft to it that they believe led to it, and that's what the Spaniards couldn't find either.
Was this a secret door here when we found this?
Nope. It beckoned to
Maybe
you.
that's maybe that's the shaft they dug.
No. It's part of the original structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not dug out by hand. None of this is. Except for the tunnel through the bone zone.
Bone zone.
I don't think we found the shaft. We asked him, can you take us to the shaft they
And
dug?
neither did we.
Mm. That other layer of dirt that you found at the bottom of that thing, I mean, maybe that was it. You know, it was made of a different material. Maybe that was part of the shaft. It comes out somewhere. Somewhere
Well,
like where the Indians, like in the woods somewhere, like we could get out that way.
The other thing is here. The other thing is we still haven't loaded the boats. You know, we haven't used the boats to canoe down the river.
Oh, there's that too. There's either that
Yeah.
or we keep going down this tunnel.
Or just walk out into
Yeah,
the daylight with your rusty
Yeah,
swords.
the problem with the tunnel is, again, once you get past a certain point, man, it's almost like no return.
Yeah, but he said it changed texture, right? Like it was built differently.
Yeah.
The sides were different.
Yeah,
He
there's
also
something
said it would
odd
be
about it.
difficult, but not impossible. That's what I
Mhm.
heard. Difficult, but not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we go
And
feet first, you could
Yeah, and
probably
Tom's
use
feet
friction
first
pressure.
idea. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it'd be easier to kind of crawl backwards down the shaft than it would be to crawl head first and be able to get back out the way you came in if you went feet first. That is true. It's not so steep that it's unclimbable.
Go ahead, Van Helsing. It's scary as shit down there, man. It's fucking tight and crazy, dude.
It is pretty scary, I must say.
But you consider the option.
Yeah,
I
and
blink
Abe,
my one eye, and
Yeah.
I say, "All right, I'll try it."
yeah, and Abe probably thinks in his mind too, like, you've heard these dead people down here, Abe, but you haven't seen any of them yet. They might be up there. That might be where those voices are coming from, in fact.
Don't go up there. Don't go. Don't.
You're a little confused.
Yeah.
You're all turned around.
They're coming from the pit, man. They're coming from the you're hearing the voices from the pit.
No.
says
I wanna
Dr.
try to
Van
go
Helsing
down that-
convincingly.
I'm gonna go down that corridor, and at least I'm gonna try to go down feet first, and go down at least to where the torch was that he first threw. The one that he threw down there, and see if I can get down at least to that level.
Okay, so are we boosting Dr. Van Helsing up into the crawl space?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So you're going down feet first. Is that right, Tom?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. You get up to the first torch. Right in this area, you can see the texture and the type of stone in the walls is very different. And you're kind of like, you see the torch, it's only like maybe 10 feet ahead down the shaft, and you're going feet first, so you're kind of looking down towards your feet to try to get a better look at it. So you kind of scooch a little closer, and then a little closer. And what happens is you realize that this texture of the stone is different because it's not stone at all. It appears to be metal. And instantaneously you realize, as you kind of lose your footing a little bit,
Uh-oh.
that they're actually, the walls and ceiling of this passageway is constructed of metal rollers. And you begin sliding quickly down into the shaft on these rollers. The torch kind of explodes as your feet hit it and sends sparks everywhere. And you kind of lose grip of the torch you're holding in your hand to try to grab onto the walls. But all of the walls around you are constructed of these metal rollers that are spinning faster and faster as you start sliding down.
I stick the torch into the roller, like into the wheels, and stop myself and try to like brace it like a gum up the gears.
You try to, but I mean, there are just dozens and dozens of these rollers around here. No matter how hard you try to grab a handhold or to brace yourself with your feet, you inevitably slide down. As the passage steepens even more, you find yourself just sliding through darkness now, and you're just frantically trying to grab onto anything. You can feel like the pain of the torch and fire from the explosion of the torch before you. And inevitably, unfortunately, Tom, you slide down this passage and you land exactly on a vertical blade that's built into the lower end of the shaft, and it slices you in twain.
Remember me.
I'm sorry, but survival in this particular situation is probably not survival, even though I'm going to do a token roll. It's 8, 9,
He uses
10,
luck, maybe?
11, 12 d6.
It's pulp rules. Remember, it's pulp rules. So if you have enough luck, you can miraculously survive, Tom.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no luck or skill roll involved in this.
Uh-oh.
It's
43 points of damage?
43 points of damage.
Oh, no.
And as I said, this particular trap, having done what Van Helsing did in exploring the passage, is not survivable, fellas. So we've had our first casualty. I imagine that you guys out in the passageway, kind of looking above, anticipating some sort of sign from Van Helsing, merely hear a brief scream that dissipates as if it's moving away away from you, and then silence.
We'll let that be a lesson to you guys. Don't do it.
And it's like,
Well,
Doctor?
at least he had a few moments with his precious golden scorpion in his armor.
Yeah,
I can remember.
Hector's looking up there and he's saying, Doctor? Doctor! Doctor, are you okay? And there's just
I yell,
silence.
take the boats!
You can hear the sputtering of your torches and the gibbering of Esteban, and there's no response from Dr. Van Helsing.
Oh no.
That's it, man. That's it.
It's okay. You got your wife pregnant before you died. So
That's true. I got a kid.
Oh,
The bloodline goes on.
The kid grew up not knowing his dad. He left when he was 12 and never came back. Something about a pyramid or something, but he really never knew.
yeah, Tom. It was kind of like the same effect as like sliding onto a bandsaw. You know, spinning at 12,000 RPMs. Yeah. It was just shunk.
That's not good. All right.
You know, so in effect, I mean, I can give you an idea as a bonus. That's what you're looking at right there. It's kind of like the shaft just ends in a blade.
Got it.
That opens up into an area below. But yeah.
damn it!
Yeah.
The fuck is this treasure? Son of a bitch.
You would have to block up that blade, somehow trap it up.
How many bodies were down there? Could
Yeah, well, I think only Van Helsing may have caught a glimpse of what lies below. Just a brief glimpse.
I'm the first one to make it here.
Yeah.
He screams it back at us. There's a solid blade down here. There's a
relay all the information.
No, it was just a scream for a very short moment that kind of traveled off as if he was moving away from you, and then silence. It's kind of
the luck roll, huh?
It's kind of like a movie scene of all the. I imagine the camera on the group, waiting for Van Helsing to say something, like how he's doing or whatever. And maybe you did. Like, is everything okay, doctor? He's like, yeah, I'm going down now, or something. And then it's just like, ah! He's gone. And everybody just looks at each other. Hector's shouting, doctor!
Can I talk to him?
Wait,
can I be one of the voices that talks to him?
Yeah.
You have to use all your luck in order to. Oh wait. You have to use all your luck.
I don't think luck's an issue here. I don't. From on
No.
hand, luck's it. Not gonna help.
Yeah, I think we have to be harsh at this moment in this particular situation. It is Call of Cthulhu, even though we're playing Pulp. But I do have some ideas, Tom, on how we can bring you back into the story pretty quickly here with the character.
No worries. All right.
Mhm.
All right.
No
But
problemo.
in the meantime, Dr. Van Helsing wants to be one of the voices talking to one of the dead voices talking in his ear.
Of course.
to Abe.
What?
Abe, can you hear me, Abe?
No!
This is the doctor. Join us.
No!
And I had to anticipate at least one of you possibly dying in this fashion. So I think, Tom, you'll be pleased with what I've come up with for a continuation character, and I'll contact you about that. I'll send you an email.
Okay, sounds good.
And explain some things. I think you'll find it interesting. It's pretty cool.
Perfect.
It's going to be like Ash from the Army of Darkness. You split into a good half and a bad half.
Right. And Aiden, I promise we'll get the Fox in at some point here. It just hasn't happened yet. I do have plans for him. He is part of the story here. As long as the rest of you survive, at least. Because if everybody dies, of course, that could cause some difficulties. So please, at least one of you survive. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen.
Like, don't ruin it for the rest of us by dying.
Don't ruin it for the rest of us. All right, we'll try not to die.
But yeah, that was a little harsh, but not entirely unexpected, right, Lee?
No,
I mean,
that's
it
good.
is Call of Cthulhu,
It is- And it is the
stuff
Tomb of
happens.
Horrors. Yes,
What
I agree.
point where it's like, okay, there's no turning back here. I was like,
Yeah, it came so close to being Isaac.
Nope, you're right. You were
But-
right. I
but
kept
it was-
thinking it was like different makeup of the dirt. Like that would be like where the Aztec dug it.
Oh,
That was the tunnel or
yeah,
something dug.
it could have been some alien spacecraft filled with, amazing technology, but unfortunately,
At
did
first,
you
I thought
guess?
he was going to say
tunnel.
rather than metal. I thought he was going to say it was going to be
Grazer.
slippery. Like no, like slippery, like some kind of like flesh. And I thought, oh shit, I'm going into the mouth of the snake. That's what I thought he was.
No, not that quite horrifying, but equally as deadly. A very cruel trap, I must say.
Slowly digested.
Yeah.
Over
Ah,
300
alright.
years.
All right, we know where not to go, guys. So
I almost feel like we should go back down into the scorpion room.
yeah, into the
Water.
water.
To the water with
Might
the
be right.
canoes,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're, by process of elimination, yes, I think so.
Well, is that the decision?
I think that's where we start to head.
What about Esteban?
Bring the. We always bring
Esteban,
him.
he's coming with us.
Okay.
We can't leave him because otherwise he'll bring Shelob down on us. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just know he is conscious now, and he is very perturbed at times. But a lot of what he says is just craziness. But it's quite obvious that he certainly has the desire to possess the scorpion. He's not very happy about the situation and what's going on. I mean, even though he maybe appears in his picture to be an old man, he's only like 30 years old. He does seem to possess, quite a bit of strength, for someone his size.
Does he?
Yeah, he does, actually. And don't forget, he's got like shark teeth. He hasn't bitten anyone yet, but that's to be avoided. But just keep in mind, this is a crazy man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna try to play him as pretty crazy.
Oh, so is it better if we once we get the carts down here, we we load everything up, we just knock him out and leave him?
Knock him out, throw him like upstairs near the guards. I mean, let's see what happens if we throw him at the guards.
Yeah, my suspicion is that the guards can't even see us. Or they,
Say we-
Yeah, like knock him out with the golden scorpion, throw him out there.
you just want to hit something with that golden scorpion, Aiden.
You're obsessed with beating someone with the golden scorpion, dude.
It's gonna happen at some point. Obviously, he hasn't been. Mercy's been staying his hand so far, but yeah, watch out.
I know I may not be able to stop him.
So if the plan is to just kind of,
We just
Re-
knock his
re-
ass out and throw him on the
I
beach
used the
there.
golden scorpion to knock him out.
yes, you all regretfully expound upon the loss of Dr. Van Helsing, or the apparent loss. I mean, you never know; he might be back. Probably not, but
I hit him over the head with the golden scorpion.
I mean, he certainly didn't wriggle back out of the hole yet, and it's been an hour. So
I hit the Escobar over the head with the golden scorpion.
you do.
Yes.
All right, you do. And it clunks his skull really well. I mean, if your intention is to knock him unconscious, he's not expecting the blow. So Abe's like, clunk, and knocks Esteban out. At that point, the scorpion disappears. And Abe, you're standing there looking at your hands. It's gone. Esteban lies on the floor before you, unconscious.
I am just like I carry him towards the guards and I leave him.
Well, when that
Whoa,
happens,
whoa, whoa.
all of you are there.
Whoa, yeah.
And you see Abe looking at his hands, and Abe looks up, and he's got this look on his face like, what happened? Oops, what? It's gone.
Check and see if it's back in room 12.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Room 11.
Where we are.
Okay.
Back right by the water.
All right,
Yeah.
so you crawl through the
Yeah.
bone pits, past the arrow traps, back into the puzzle room. Put all the puzzle pieces into place. The floor grinds open to the stairway. You run down the stairs as quickly as you can, stumbling, sweating. Abe's falling behind. The voices are back there, Abe. They're behind you somewhere now. And then you find yourself...
Hurry, Abe, hurry.
And then you find yourself standing at the threshold of the Sea of Snakes. Take a big, deep breath and sigh. Run through there. Ow! 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 Get back down into the subterranean cavern. You can hear the rushing water. And sure enough, you see the golden scorpion sitting on the shore of the stream, but in a different place than where you found it.
So we collect it up, grab our hand carts, loaded them into the water, and shove off.
We need to not bring Escobar near the entrance, so one of the people just walks up and sees this golden man. Let's see what happens when we come back.
It could be a
I'm
risk.
not going
Exposing
back
yourself
through
to the
those
entrance
snakes.
like that could be a risk.
No,
Back through
near
those snakes.
enough to where he's exposed.
I'm not going back through the snakes twice, man.
Says Isaac.
Well, we don't take any
Exactly.
damage.
There is the matter of Esteban, though. I mean, he's unconscious again.
We leave him there. Let's just go. Get the hell out of here.
You're not doing my. This is interesting.
We'll wait. I'll wait. I mean, I'll sit here with the golden scorpion if you want to run his body back up there and get bitten.
Is that what you want to do, Abe? You know, take him back up near the entrance in the Great Hall, leave him out there somewhere.
I leave him near one of the torches, like the renewable torches.
Okay, yeah, up in the upper levels where all the skull rooms are and everything, but not too far towards the entrance. Okay, you do that, and you don't hear any voices or anything or any activity. These torches have been replaced recently, as they always are. And you leave Esteban's body in one of the skull rooms as he lies there unconscious, dooming him to whatever fate awaits him. I'm sure at some point in the campaign he'll become your worst nightmare when he reappears in the nether. But yeah. And all the time on the way back you hear the voices coming from the corpse pit. You know, you have to put your hands over your ears and it helps because you can't hear them as well anymore. So eventually, Abe winds back up in the subterranean cavern down here. A little worse for wear and tear, but he's still crazy. He starts talking about how the voices are, still coming, and I assume Abe probably wants to get out of here as quickly as all the rest of you.
Yes.
So as you, load up into these handcars, they seem to serve pretty well as boats, actually. And they carry you downstream through the subterranean tunnels for quite some time. And at one point, the current kind of slows to a slow crawl, and you have to find yourself having to kind of paddle along. But eventually, you see daylight, and the stream emerges into the valley of the Aztecs. I can kind of give you an idea of where you guys come out here.
Where
You guys come out somewhere right up in here. And the subterranean stream is not necessarily on the map, but it kind of flows into this kind of river that flows through the valley. So you guys are quite away from the main settlement area and the pyramid. As you emerge, you can see the pyramid in the distance, in the village. You guys are kind of along these steep, craggy cliffs rising above you to the east. And you kind of quickly figure out where you are in the valley, and you realize, like, the gate is over here, which is not too far away. Other than that, the only other apparent way out of this valley, they have these terraced fields over here on the western side with some bravery and determination may possibly be scaled up that way if you wanted to avoid the gate.
What's that like? I want to. How about we go observe what's near the gate? Like, who's guarding it?
Okay.
How hard would it be to paddle back up into this area, back up into the passageway?
Yeah, and it's early evening. You do have sort of the cover of night ahead. Inspecting the gate is just as you remember it. It is guarded by Aztec warriors, quite obviously, as you get close enough to kind of see them. And the gate, of course, leads up into the Ravine of Echoes, out into the desert beyond. So it might be difficult to actually exit the valley through the gate. It is guarded. It's like perhaps the only way out of here, at least as far as you know, would be to try to scale those fields to the west, perhaps.
Or over here? Like, fields over here?
Yeah, like over here in the west, yep.
These are terraces too, right? Yeah.
These are. Yeah, it looks like you may be able to use some of these terraced fields to help you climb up out of here.
Alright.
We should try it at night.
Is it possible we could use these carts to paddle back up into the...
Well, yes, now that you know where the stream emerges, I mean, you'd be going against the current, but yes, you would be able to enter.
I say we check out the other side before we get out of here, man.
Oh, you mean go
Good
against
idea.
go back down in there against the current and see where it comes out?
I'll basically come back this way to see what's down here.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of pocket, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to kind of paddle against the current, to get out of there. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, you spend most of the night doing that, and eventually, you kind of get the smell of like fresh air kind of flowing into the cavern, and late that night, you see sort of this grayish light ahead, and the stream emerges into this canyon. And all of the rocks and sheer cliffs around you, they're all kind of a reddish hue.
Yes.
And the sky above is this very strange sort of grayish yellow color. It's almost like you feel like it's sunrise, but it's either twilight or sunrise. Maybe you've lost track of time at this point. But the sky is a very strange yellowish gray color. And as you kind of disembark, from your makeshift canoes, and kind of pull yourselves out with the... Who's carrying the scorpion, by the way?
Mercy will carry it.
Mercy's carrying it? Okay.
We'll keep it in a cart. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
have these-
Yeah, because
since we have these canoes, we'll haul it like that if that's possible.
And the sky is so overcast, Isaac, the first thing you probably do is try to figure out which way is north, right? Like where you are
Yeah.
geographically. But the sun is not shining. It's so overcast with these grayish yellow clouds and shit, you don't see the sun or the stars. You can't tell if it's morning or evening. And as you disembark from the craft and kind of, brush yourselves off or whatever and gather your armor and belongings, Hector says, "Look," and he's pointing off in a direction. And as I said, you're in this cavern. You can see that the cavern kind of narrows in the direction you're looking, and on either side of the canyon, you see these great figures etched into the sides of the cavern out of the living rock. And there are 6 of them, sort of in 2 rows, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And they're depictions of gigantic snake men carved into the canyon walls. Imagine kind of like, you know, the Lord of the Rings thing, you know, when the mouth of whatever.
The kings.
I mean, they're that big. They're gigantic. They just tower up into the sky above you.
The Numorians.
Mm.
And the sky is very, very strange looking. Very kind of eerie, discolored. And you can see the shadows that project off down into the canyon in the direction you're looking at. It's very odd because the shadows almost seem displaced, and there are shadows perhaps where there shouldn't be shadows. It's hard to tell the direction of the light, you know, coming from the sky.
We're not
In
supposed
some
to be
places there are not shadows where there should be shadows. It's kind of disorienting, actually, the environment around you.
Let's go back.
Awesome. No, we need to explore this place.
And as I said, you see these enormous figures of these snake people rising up into the sky about a half a mile in that direction. That's where we're going to end the session.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
And Mercy,
Except for-
your teeth start aching.
Well, I'm not carrying it.
Okay.
We put it in the boat.
Well,
Aren't snakes and scorpions natural predators? Okay.
certainly. Well, scorpions are predators.
But we did see the in the carving in that one. It had one of the
The
humanoid serpent people with it.
Yes, and these figures that
offering
are
it.
these gigantic figures are the same kind of shape, same looking types of people. They have arms and legs like men, but their heads are in the shape of like cobras, like hooded cobras, and they have these long tails. And they're standing there in like very kind of stoic poses, looking down to the canyon below. Looks like one of them actually has like a book cradled in one arm. Another has a spear. We might have to get a closer look at those. But yeah, that's where we're in the session. And Tom, I'll be in touch with you about your new character.
Okay.
And now, in my mind, even though the adventure in the catacombs under the pyramid was kind of like Indiana Jones-ish, like Aiden, like you said, pretty pulpy kind of stuff, right? Here is where the pulp really starts. This is like epic comic book adventures coming up here. You know what I'm saying? Like truly epic stuff, I think.
Awesome.
All right.
Guess we're in a different plane.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling, don't you?
That odd feeling.
Yeah, this stream certainly emerged into something unexpected here. But we'll find out, won't we? So, until next time. I hope everybody can make it next week. Yeah, just keep in touch. And like I was saying, you know, I mean, life happens. Work and kids and school or whatever.
No.
Let's just try to get together, you know, as much as we can. And going forward here, since Tom will have a new character, Aiden has a backup character. I think both Leah and Kyle have backup characters, right?
Yep. We
That's
do.
Oh yeah.
That's a good thing. I may explain at some point how new characters will come into the game at this point, since it's kind of a strange happening. It's not your standard, you know, well, my character knew this guy and this guy's cousin, and that's who he is. It can't really work that way going forward.
I can imagine the Fox making a team.
Yeah, I have plans for the Fox, Aiden. So, and I think it may actually tie in with Tom's new character as well. There's many ways I can do it. But just between now and next session, Lee and Kyle especially, take a look at the backup characters you have. I think they're under... where did I put them? And just make sure that... where is it here?
Alright.
It's under the Down
Yeah,
Darker Trails section in the journal there. If you open up Down Darker Trails, Tio Tuco and Sancho Navarro are down there. Just take a look at them and finish fleshing them out if you need to. You may need them.
I think I still have stuff to do.
Yep. All right. So we welcome our slightly undead investigators into the next episode of The Golden Scorpion.
Awesome.
Next week. Tune in next week. Yes. So I'll see you guys then.
Nice.
All right,
Cool.
awesome.
Thanks, dude. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome
great,
game.
great game, guys.
Yep, that was fun.
Good night, gentlemen.
Yep.
Yes.
Happy Easter.
And we shall
Yeah,
mourn
happy
Van
Easter,
Helsing's loss.
It's all right. He's got a kid to carry on his line.
Yes, he does.
You could have an uncle.
There we go.
Let's go see the nuns.
Yes.
The women.
Leave the women and children.
I
Carry the
wrote,
women.
Yeah.
like the entire rub thing. I love that part.
And Lee, if you have some time tomorrow, or if anybody has time tomorrow, I think we're going to try to play some Torchbearer tomorrow afternoon, possibly on Roll20. So if you're interested in that,
Down.
yeah, shoot us a message. I think Alex said like tomorrow afternoon sometime.
He said at the crack of noon.
Yeah, crack of noon. So if you're interested, give us a holler.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we need a cleric, Kyle. Why don't you need to play?
Oh man, I'd love to.
Where Rick? Place something to think about.
Yeah, we'll get him in eventually. All right, and this ends this episode.